Chapter 570, Insane Slapping. _2. Mr. Abner walked out and said, I am the lord of this manor and there has been no murder here. Are you sure of your facts? Since his mother had already told him beforehand, he would not go back on his word. In any case, this was his mother's own choice. Upon seeing the police coming in, both Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang were slightly panicked. Although N.I. Yang had said that Georgia was only in a state of fake death, Georgia still hadn't breathed and hadn't responded at all. They wouldn't really take N.I. Yang away, would they? Once associated with a homicide, then N.I. Yang's life would be ruined. Right then, Wang Yili somewhat regretted introducing N.I. Yang to Wang Yizhang. He was the one who had ruined N.I. Yang. Ji-Ro pointed at Georgia, who was lying on the bed, and said, Mr. Abner, up to this point, are you still going to cover for N.I. Yang? The victim is your own biological mother. Officer, the deceased is right here. Upon conclusion, Ji-Ro pointed at N.I. Yang and said, and she is the killer. N.I. Yang didn't look panicked at all. She didn't even spare Ji-Ro an extra glance. She bent down to help Georgia, saying, take it slow, sit up and see if you're having trouble breathing. Georgia, who had been lying in bed with no signs of life, gradually opened her eyes and, with N.I. Yang's help, slowly sat up in bed. I feel a lot better. The most noticeable change was the absence of her headache, and the weight gone off her shoulders, feeling indescribably relieved. Seeing this, everyone in the room was stunned. Mr. Abner immediately rushed over, saying, Mom, are you okay? Are you really okay? Georgia had been lying in bed for over a year, unable to sit up because she couldn't use the muscles in her back. This was simply a miracle. Impossible. This is impossible. Ji-Ro, who had been ready to enjoy a good laugh, turned pale on the spot. How could this be possible? How could worthless traditional Chinese medicine be so powerful? Didn't Georgia breathe her last? Why isn't Georgia dead? Ji-Ro clenched her fists, breaking several fingernails in the process. Seeing Georgia awake and safe, the other Western doctors also marveled at this miracle. They knew Georgia had been pronounced dead by them. But now, she was miraculously cured by a traditional Chinese doctor that they had always looked down on. This was simply unimaginable. Could it be that traditional Chinese medicine is this powerful? The Western doctors' opinions of N.I. Yang were changing. Even Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang were somewhat shocked. Neither of them had expected Georgia to wake up abruptly. The police saw that it was all a misunderstanding, said a few words and then turned to leave. Please wait a moment, officer, said N.I. Yang lightly. Young comrade, do you have any other matters? N.I. Yang continued, what punishment would one receive for falsely reporting crimes, maliciously misleading and seriously disrupting public order and wasting public resources? The leading policeman replied, according to the regulation on public order punishments, those who commit such crimes will be detained for up to 15 days. If they commit a crime, they will be prosecuted for criminal responsibility. N.I. Yang nodded, turned to look at Ji-Ro and said, so this lady who falsely reported a crime maliciously misled the public, seriously disrupted public order and wasted public resources, should be dealt with according to the law, right? N.I. Yang was not someone who could be easily manipulated by Ji-Ro. Since Ji-Ro never intended to let her off in the first place, she would repay her with a 15-day police station tour. Were you the one who reported the incident? The policeman turned and asked Ji-Ro. Ji-Ro was dumbfounded, as if struck by the imposing aura of the officer. She turned pale and said, it was me. Mr. Abner immediately cast a disappointed look at Ji-Ro. The trust Ji-Ro had built up in his heart was gradually disintegrating. Just as Ji-Ro realized that she had misspoken and quickly covered her mouth, it was too late. She was escorted by the police into their vehicle. Mr. Abner, save me, it wasn't me, it really wasn't me. She couldn't be sent to the detention center, she couldn't leave a stain on her record. The original plan was to get N.I. Yang into the police car, but she ended up becoming a laughingstock before N.I. Yang. Ever since she returned to the country, Ji-Ro had never lost such great face. This was such a disgrace. Ji-Ro was filled with regret, but there was no antidote for remorse in this world. Chapter 571, Insane Slapping. _3. N.I. Yang looked at her retreating figure, a slight smile curling her lips. Mr. Abner came to N.I. Yang's side, then asked, Divine Doctor, is my mother fully cured now? N.I. Yang withdrew her gaze and replied, the cold deficiency isn't a big illness. Roughly half a month of traditional Chinese medicine should be sufficient for a complete recovery. They'll come by for a follow-up in half a month. Thank you so much, Divine Doctor. Thank you for giving my mother a second chance at life. Mr. Abner said gratefully. No need for thanks, it's my duty as a doctor. Divine Doctor, we were ignorant before. We are sorry for any inconvenience caused. Several Western doctors came forward and bowed their heads in apology to Yang. They had underestimated traditional Chinese medicine from the start. Yang responded straightforwardly, Chinese and Western medicines each have their strengths. I only treat the diseases I am skilled to. I turn to you for advice when I encounter stubborn diseases. I believe the best approach integrates both Chinese and Western medicine, making good use of each other's strengths. We shouldn't stereotype different cultures. In her actions, she constantly embodied the essence of a great nation. The Western doctors couldn't help but hang their heads in shame, submitting under her words. Seeing the Western doctors apologize to Yang, Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang felt extremely proud. In an era dominated by Western medicine, finally, someone has turned the table for them. It's not easy to make these Western doctors bow their heads. And Yang's argument was valid. Chinese medicine has its advantages and so does Western medicine, neither is overlapping the other. If these two could be utilized in conjunction, it would surely benefit humanity even more. Mr. Abner's eyes filled with admiration. Although this young girl didn't seem aged, her understanding far surpassed her years. She emanated a kind of beauty refined by time itself. The Western doctors then asked, "Can we ask you a few questions?" "Of course." Yang nodded, delicately answering the questions posed by them. Wang Yili and Wang Yizhang unconsciously joined in, discussing medical knowledge, and they ended up sitting down together to discuss the details in the medical office of the manor. Georgia held Mr. Abner's hand and said, "You must properly thank the Divine Doctor." Mr. Abner nodded, "Don't worry, I will." At noon, Mr. Abner grandly entertained them. Yang made an agreement with him to come for a follow-up visit after 15 days. After the meal, Yang followed Wang Yizhang's car to the city center. "Second grandfather Wang, you can drop me off here." Wang Yizhang was surprised. "Yang, aren't you going home?" Yang smiled lightly, "I have some stuff to do, I won't be going home just yet. You and grandfather Wang can go first." "Alright then Yang, take care, we'll go first." Wang Yizhang said. Hum. Yang waved goodbye to them. "Goodbye, grandfathers." "Goodbye." Yang arrived at the Xinhua bookstore, bought a few basic English textbooks, and picked up some English tapes, along with a tape recorder. At that time the tape recorder was portable but bulky and extremely expensive. A tape recorder would cost 38 yuan, which was nearly a month's wage for some people. Most families couldn't afford it. After leaving Xinhua bookstore, Yang went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables. She was a regular customer of the vegetable stall owner. This time she bought over 500 kilograms of vegetables, and the stall owner would directly deliver them to her doorstep. After all, 500 kilograms of vegetables cost 25 yuan. Usually, even half a month's sale wouldn't total up to that. Following this, Yang also bought some beef and mutton before heading home. When she arrived home, the vegetables had already been delivered by the stall owner. Tsuehua and a few other village women were washing the vegetables. The vegetables were to make pickles. Tsuehua alone couldn't finish washing over 500 kilograms of it, so each time they bought vegetables for pickling, temporary laborers were hired from the village to help. Temporary labor cost 2 yuan a day and everyone was very eager to work. After washing the vegetables, Yang handed the tape recorder and English books she bought to Tsuehua. "Mom, these are for you." "What's this?" Tsuehua was a bit curious. "These are English textbooks and a tape recorder to help you learn English." Yang responded. Tsuehua was amazed, "So this is a tape recorder. How do you use it?" "They'll show you." Yang plugged in the recorder, inserted a tape, and soon a standard American English accent flowed from the recorder. Chapter 572, Insane Slapping. _4. You speak so well. Tsuehua flipped open her English book to the first unit, starting to learn alongside. As Tsuehua had spent some time in M country, her pronunciation was quite accurate, and the English book that Yen bought contained Chinese explanations, which made learning easier for Tsuehua. With a smile Yen said, "Mom, your English is great. You don't need to worry about the household chores anymore, just focus on learning English." Learning another language was not a bad thing for Tsuehua. Tsuehua said, "There's not much to do around the house. I can learn and work at the same time. Studying won't delay anything." When Tsuehua was learning English, little Yun was also mimicking behind her, making babbling sounds. Quite expressive indeed. Time flew quickly and soon it was the beginning of the month. Today was the day when Li Ronghua was invited to her boyfriend's house. Her boyfriend's name was Zhou Wenhua. True to his name, he was a man of education. Although he had to retake university several times before finally getting in, at least he managed to graduate from a second-tier school. In this era, second-tier university graduates were rare, and they were guaranteed a stable job after graduation. Perhaps it was not exaggerating to consider him the golden phoenix in her family. Zhou Wenhua was always the pride of Li Ronghua. Though she didn't even graduate from junior high school, but her boyfriend was really something. Last week, Zhou Wenhua went to Guangguan for a trip. He was arriving today, so Li Ronghua purposely rode ahead to the train station, ready to pick him up. Li Ronghua had waited at the exit for a long time but didn't see Zhou Wenhua. Suddenly something caught her eye. If the man in the denim jacket and jeans wasn't her boyfriend, who else could it be? Wenhua. Over here. Over here. Li Ronghua waved her hands frantically, yelling excitedly. Perhaps it was Li Ronghua's overpowering shouts, or perhaps it was her overtly enthusiastic gestures that caused the girl walking beside Zhou Wenhua to subtly let go of Zhou's wrist and distanced herself from him. The previously vibrant smile on Zhou Wenhua's face stiffened instantly. "Why are you here?" Zhou Wenhua asked as he approached Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua replied with a grin, "I came specifically to pick you up. How is it? Are you surprised and touched?" Zhou Wenhua frustratingly rubbed his temples. "Li Ronghua, you're over 20. You're not a child anymore. Can you please stop acting so immature? Aren't you annoyed with yourself?" In Zhou Wenhua's eyes, Li Ronghua was nothing but a nuisance. Not only was her education lacking, but her fiery temper was unbearable. She could quarrel for lengthy periods over 1 or 2 cents, arguing until she was red in the face. She was even more uncivilized than the uncouth. That wasn't even the worst part. What truly disappointed Zhou Wenhua was that, after a hard struggle, he finally managed to secure a factory job for Li Ronghua through a friend. But instead of taking it, Li Ronghua decided to work for an individual proprietor. Telling others about it was almost shameful. How could he have fallen for someone like this? "Sorry, Wenhua, I didn't mean to cause you trouble. I just wanted to surprise you. It wasn't on purpose." In front of Zhou Wenhua, Li Ronghua held back her spirited nature, becoming as timid and awkward as a child. Because she truly loved Zhou Wenhua. Deeply loved him. A love that seemed beyond cure. Zhou Wenhua frowned in disgust. "Never mind, just don't try to be smart next time." At his words, Li Ronghua immediately broke into a joyous smile. "Okay. I promise. By the way, Wenhua, is that comrade a classmate of yours? Was she scared off by me just now?" When Li Ronghua first spotted Zhou Wenhua, she was so excited that she didn't notice the two of them holding hands. Zhou Wenhua replied, "Her name is Su Ziqin, a university classmate of mine." As he said this, Zhou Wenhua waved towards Su Ziqin over here. Su Ziqin was a city girl with an extraordinary aura. Her hair was tied in 2 long braids, she wore a floral dress and black high heels were on her feet. "Ziqin, this is Li Ronghua," Zhou Wenhua introduced. Su Ziqin smiled at Li Ronghua, reaching out her hand. "Hello, comrade Li Ronghua, I've heard about you from Wenhua. Today I finally meet you. You're even prettier than what Wenhua described." Indeed, Li Ronghua was pretty, but compared to Su Ziqin she lacked self-confidence. She seemed very timid. Standing before university-educated Su Ziqin, Li Ronghua felt immensely inferior. She reached out and shook Su's hand. "Hello. Wenhua told me you're a year older than me. Can I call you Sister Ronghua?" Su Ziqin was more approachable than Li Ronghua had imagined. Chapter 573, Insane Slapping. _5. "Sure." Li Ronghua nodded. "Sister Ronghua, you call Wenhua by his name, you can call me Ziqin too." Su Ziqin continued. Seeing Su Ziqin being so gentle, Li Ronghua relaxed quite a bit. What does she have to feel inferior about? Although she didn't go to college, but her boyfriend did, didn't he? The three of them walked out of the train station together. Zhou Wenhua handed their luggage to Li Ronghua. "You go to my house by bike alone. We will go by taxi." "Wenhua, I can take you on my bike." Li Ronghua hadn't grasped what was happening yet. Zhou Wenhua followed up with, "Ziqin is also going." "Oh, I see." Li Ronghua finally understood and gave Zhou Wenhua a knowing glance. Zhou Wenhua, who had been with Li Ronghua for such a long time, still had some mutual understanding. He walked over to Li Ronghua and impatiently said, "What's wrong?" Li Ronghua pulled Zhou Wenhua aside and whispered, "Wenhua, do you have money for the taxi? How embarrassing it would be to ride with a female classmate and not have money." I have money. Stop worrying about me. Zhou Wenhua hated her bearing the look of offering alms. Perhaps he had forgotten that the money for the trip to Guangguan was quietly provided by Li Ronghua. Without Li Ronghua he might not even have money for a repeater tuition. Wenhua, I know you're worried about me not having money to spend. Rest assured I have money. Li Ronghua stuffed a big yuan note into Zhou Wenhua's pocket. Anger was evident in Zhou Wenhua's eyes. Right at this moment, Su Ziqin picked up a suitcase and spoke up. Wenhua, I just remembered my mom is awaiting my return home. I'll have to visit your place next time. Having said that, Su Ziqin turned around with her suitcase and left. Zhou Wenhua instantly chased after her. Ziqin. Su Ziqin looked back and said, Wenhua, go home with Sister Ronghua first. I'm fine, I can visit your home at any time during the summer vacation. But I hope you can handle things with Sister Ronghua soon. So I'll be off. With no choice left, Zhou Wenhua had to let Su Ziqin leave first. Li Ronghua caught up from behind. Strange. Why did Ziqin leave? Zhou Wenhua frowned. This is all because of you. If not for Li Ronghua, would Su Ziqin have left? Li Ronghua immediately apologized. I'm sorry, Wenhua, I embarrassed you in front of your classmate. I promise, this will never happen again. Zhou Wenhua also greatly disliked Li Ronghua's groveling attitude. Such lowliness is inherent to people of her status. They can never elevate their position. Let's go. Zhou Wenhua strode forward. Li Ronghua quickly matched his pace. Zhou Wenhua's home was located in the city. Their house was given to them by the factory. It seemed in better condition than Li Ronghua's house by a lot. As soon as they knocked, Zhou Wenhua's mother, Wang Ming, and father Zhou Guikai fervently came out to greet them. Wenhua is back. If Ni Yang were present, she would certainly recognize that this Wang Ming was the same aunt she met at the airport that day. And that girl who was hopelessly devoted was indeed Li Ronghua. Mom, Dad. Uncle Zhou, Auntie Zhou, Li Ronghua followed, calling them from behind. Zhou Wenhua's parents outright ignored Li Ronghua. Glancing behind Zhou Wenhua, their faces suddenly fell. Wenhua, why isn't Ziqin with you? Zhou Wenhua brusquely replied. She couldn't come due to some sudden matters. Why couldn't she come? Wang Ming anxiously exclaimed. Didn't she say on the phone that she was coming today? Did your childish antics make her angry? This child, how could you upset Ziqin? Only Su Ziqin could become Wang Ming's ideal daughter-in-law. Not only was she a college student, she also came from a good background with parents who were top leaders at the factory. Zhou Wenhua and her were undoubtedly a perfect match. She's much stronger than Li Ronghua by countless folds. Li Ronghua immediately admitted her mistake. I'm sorry, Auntie, it wasn't Wenhua's fault. It was all my fault. Ziqin was originally going to come. The fault was hers from the start. She couldn't let Zhou Wenhua take the blame for her. Upon hearing this, Wang Ming was immediately enraged. Just about to burst out with a torrent of abuse, Zhou Guikai, the head of the family, said, If she didn't come, she didn't come. Come on in. Don't stand outside. At the same time, Zhou Guikai subtly pulled Wang Ming's hand. Only then did Wang Ming suppress her anger. In the living room, the food was already set on the table. The dishes were very rich, with braised pork, roasted duck, and chicken soup, all filling the table. Li Ronghua was very pleased, as this spread revealed how much the Zhou family valued her. Is everyone here? Can we start eating? A girl around 12 or 13 years old came out of the inner room. This was Zhou Wenhua's younger sister, Zhou Xiuzhen. Wang Ming vented obliquely, Eat, eat, eat. All you know is to eat. Why don't you drop dead from overeating? Zhou Xiuzhen didn't care, looked around the room and asked curiously, Did Sister Ziqin not come? Zhou Wenhua replied, Your sister Ziqin had something come up last minute. She'll come visit our home another day. Zhou Xiuzhen nodded her head, somewhat regretful. Then the meal Mom made today, isn't it wasted? Little did they know, this meal was specially prepared for Su Ziqin, the future daughter-in-law of Wang Ming. Unexpectedly, Li Ronghua took advantage of it. Before she could finish, Zhou Xiuzhen braked in time and quickly changed her tune to say, Mom's cooking today smells delightful, all of it was made for Sister Ronghua, so you must eat more later on. Li Ronghua, slightly embarrassed, replied, Oh, you're being too kind, Auntie. Inside, Zhou Xiuzhen secretly thought that Li Ronghua was being really foolish, but she said out loud, It's because you're an honored guest, Sister Ronghua. Her words left Li Ronghua flushing even more. As people gathered around to have a meal, Li Ronghua took a big chicken leg. Seeing Li Ronghua take the drumstick, Wang Ming was seething inside. This glutton. Shameless. Always picking the best food. Showing no consideration at all. The next moment, Li Ronghua put the drumstick into Zhou Wenhua's bowl. Wenhua, you must be tired from studying so much, have this drumstick to replenish your strength. Knowing that the Zhou family wasn't well off, each time she visited, Li Ronghua would eat pickles and left the delicious dishes for others whenever she could. After seeing this, Wang Meiying felt a bit relieved. After the meal, Li Ronghua quietly went to Zhou Wenhua's room. Zhou Wenhua, not knowing what she was working quietly on at the desk, was startled when he saw Li Ronghua come in. He chided her, "How many times have I told you to knock first before entering? Do you even know what personal privacy means?" That's just how Li Ronghua was. Uneducated, without worldly wisdom, it was all in vain telling her. Li Ronghua smiled. "Wenhua, we're dating, why are you still talking about privacy? Besides, what were you writing just now?" Because of love, she could tolerate all of Zhou Wenhua's shortcomings. Zhou Wenhua closed his notebook, repulsion evident in his eyes. "Even if I told you, would you understand? An illiterate who hadn't even finished junior high school." Li Ronghua giggled. "Wenhua, don't be mad. Look at this, it's a gift I specifically asked my boss to bring back from M country for you." Li Ronghua took out a black and white box. The box was marked with a line of English letters, Parker. "Is this a Parker fountain pen?" Zhou Wenhua seemed incredibly excited. A Parker fountain pen costs over 200 yuan. 2 students in his class already own one. If he could use one too, it would be such a display of prestige. Seeing Zhou Wenhua's delight, Li Ronghua was also overjoyed. "Yes, it's a Parker fountain pen. Wenhua, do you like it?" Chapter 574. You really are a good child. _1 Zhou Wenhua did not respond to Li Ronghua's words. Instead, he ripped open the box that contained the pen. "It's a Parker pen? It's really a Parker pen?" Zhou Wenhua was thrilled. He hugged Li Ronghua tightly, saying, "Ronghua, thank you. I love you." Zhou Wenhua was only this enthusiastic towards Li Ronghua when he received a gift that he had been longing for. Li Ronghua, a bit embarrassed, pushed Zhou Wenhua away. "Wenhua, what are you doing? Stop being cheeky. You should check out the pen first. I'm going to go see if Andy needs any help." The couple had been seeing each other for a few years now, yet they hadn't engaged in any overly intimate behaviors. This made Li Ronghua feel a little uncomfortable. Upon entering the living room, Li Ronghua saw Wang Meiying sitting on the sofa, picking her teeth. Upon seeing Li Ronghua approach, she immediately yelled at Zhou Xiuzhen, "You lazy bum! Why haven't you done the dishes yet? All you do is eat and laze around." Li Ronghua, seemingly oblivious to the hidden meaning in Wang Meiying's words, quickly replied, "Auntie, Xiuzhen is still young, let me do the dishes." Wang Meiying forced a fake smile. "Oh Ronghua, that would be such a nuisance for you. What a good child you are. It's no hassle. What's so hard about washing dishes?" Li Ronghua immediately headed to the kitchen to start washing the dishes. The stove was piled with dishes, some from the morning. Humming a small tune, Li Ronghua efficiently washed the dishes. For her this was nothing. Because here there were people she loved and people who loved her. Besides, how many daughters-in-law wouldn't have to wash dishes at their in-laws' home? "Sister-in-law," Zhou Xiuzhen cheerfully walked in from outside, speaking warmly. "Sister-in-law, you're washing dishes? Can I help you?" Li Ronghua, a bit embarrassed, said, "Don't go calling me that." Zhou Xiuzhen replied, "Anyway, you're going to be my sister-in-law sooner or later. Plus, I only call you that when others aren't around. Sister-in-law, let me help you. It's too much for you to do alone." Li Ronghua laughed. "It's okay, you can go out and play." Zhou Xiuzhen looked at Li Ronghua, wanting to say something but stopping herself. Humming her tune, Li Ronghua didn't notice Zhou Xiaoxin's strange behavior. Zhou Xiuzhen pouted. What's going on with Li Ronghua today? Could it be that she didn't notice her unusual behavior? Since Li Ronghua remained silent, Zhou Xiuzhen had no choice but to speak up. "Sister-in-law, I need your help with something." "What is it?" Li Ronghua glanced at her. Zhou Xiuzhen continued, "Sister-in-law, could you lend me some money?" To Zhou Xiuzhen, Li Ronghua was like a walking ATM. Just like a fool, she could be easily tricked every time. "Of course." Li Ronghua wiped her hands on her apron and without hesitation, pulled out some coins from her pocket and gave them to Zhou Xiuzhen. "Here you go." The coins were all pennies and dimes, the largest of which was only 3 cents. Added together, they didn't even amount to 30 cents. Zhou Xiuzhen complained somewhat contemptuously, "Isn't this too little? Sister-in-law, could you give me some more?" Li Ronghua said, "What does a kid like you need so much money for?" "Sister-in-law, please, you're my own sister-in-law. I'm not asking for much, just 2 yuan will do." Zhou Xiuzhen was Zhou Wenhua's only sister and her future sister-in-law. Naturally, she couldn't offend her future sister-in-law. Li Ronghua nodded. All right. I'll give it to you. You're the best sister-in-law. Zhou Xiuzhen was very happy. After taking the money, Zhou Xiuzhen ran out of the kitchen. Once Li Ronghua had finished the dishes and left the kitchen, Wang Meiying instructed Zhou Xiuzhen to do the laundry. In the end, the person doing the laundry turned out to be Li Ronghua. The laundry had been piling up for days. By the time Li Ronghua had finished washing the laundry, it was already past 5 in the afternoon. Uncle, Auntie, it's getting late, I should go home. Chapter 575. Extremely proud, comparison, one more. _1 Wang Meiying feigned politeness and said, Ronghua, let Wenhua take you home. No need, Li Ronghua refused. Wenhua is reading. We better not disturb him. Wang Meiying smiled and said, Ronghua, you're such a good kid. Li Ronghua, slightly embarrassed, said, I'm just doing what I should do. With that said, Li Ronghua left on his bike. Watching Li Ronghua's retreating figure, Wang Meiying spat on the ground and muttered, Pa, what a piece of trash. A shameless beggar. After Li Ronghua left, Zhou Wenhua emerged from the room. He had been pretending to read to avoid Li Ronghua. Zhou Guikai and Wang Meiying were sitting at the table. Zhou Wenhua resumed, Mom, Dad, I want to break up with Li Ronghua as soon as possible. Why? Zhou Guikai asked, surprised. Impatient, Wang Meiying asked, Did Zijin ask you to break up as soon as possible? In reality, Su Ziqin was already with Zhou Wenhua. Zhou's parents were very pleased with their prospective daughter-in-law. Zhou Wenhua continued, Zijin understands me. She also sympathizes with Li Ronghua and agrees to give me time to handle this. But I just can't stand it anymore. Every minute with Li Ronghua is torture. He had nothing in common with Li Ronghua. When he said one thing, Li Ronghua could manage to twist it to something else. Sometimes her responses were entirely unrelated. He was really fed up. No way, you can't break up with Li Ronghua for the time being. Zhou Guikai spoke up. Right, I don't agree either. Why? Zhou Wenhua looked at his parents incredulously. Mom, Dad, don't you dislike Li Ronghua too? Yes, we certainly don't like Li Ronghua. Zhou Guikai nodded. Impatiently, Zhou Wenhua asked, Then why won't you let me break up with her? The sooner he broke up, the sooner he'd be free. Because of Li Ronghua, he couldn't openly introduce Su Zijin to others. He could only say that Su Zijin was his classmate, which resulted in Su Zijin suffering a lot. Wang Meiying continued, You and Zijin are dating, eating, going to the movies, buying clothes, doesn't all of that cost money? You certainly can't use Zijin's money. Our income is not substantial, and with your brother and sister still studying, when you really break up with Li Ronghua, where will the money come from? To their family, Li Ronghua was like a free ATM. Without Li Ronghua, their life wouldn't be as comfortable. Regardless of the job Li Ronghua was doing, she gave all her money to their family without reserving a cent for herself. Sometimes, Li Ronghua would even give money from her own parents to Zhou Wenhua. Zhou Wenhua frowned. Am I supposed to rely on a woman to support me? Zhou Wenhua was poor but proud. He didn't want to be tagged as one living off a woman. If his classmates heard about it, how would he save face? Zhou Guikai glanced at Zhou Wenhua. Now is not the time for you to act bravely. There are countless examples of men having multiple wives in ancient times. If a woman is willing to give you money, that's because of your own ability. Hearing this, Wang Meiying immediately echoed, Exactly. Your father is absolutely right. Does the guy next door, Guzi, have such ability? I've heard from the matchmaker. His mother introduced him to so many girls, not one of them liked him. When Wang Meiying said this, she appeared extremely proud. Could she not be proud of having such a capable son? Not everyone had the fortune to have such a capable son. Zhou Wenhua's vanity was slowly filled by his parents' words. Yes. Li Ronghua willingly gave him money, but he had never asked her for a cent. As for the money that came unasked, why wouldn't he accept it? Zhou Wenhua nodded. Fine, I'll listen to you. But Mom and Dad, dragging this on forever isn't viable either, it's not fair to Zijin. Su Ziqin was an innocent young girl, she couldn't just blindly follow him around. Like this. Wang Meiying's eyes twinkled. He'll think of a way for you. So you can have money to spend and also break up with Li Ronghua. Deal? The courtyard of the Ni family. In the evening, the courtyard was filled with the rich aroma of food, and the house was filled with laughter. After these days of hard study, Suihua had managed to learn quite a lot of English. At the moment, she was practicing English conversation with Yang Yang. Qingguo said with a smile, Yang Yang's mom, you're amazing. It seems that I should learn from you. Suihua humbly replied, Oh come on, I'm just doing it for fun. Jianghu continued, I'm just joking around. If I actually had to do this, I definitely wouldn't have the patience. She was over 40. Where would she have the mood to study this? She didn't have the steadfastness and perseverance of Cuihua. Cuihua was the kind of person who thirsted for knowledge and was very smart. Jianghu continued, Yang Yang's mom, you never wanted to go to school when you were younger. If you had, you would have gone to university a long time ago. Also, Cuihua had a certain quality about her that was not ordinary. Perhaps it was because of her years living as a peasant woman, it had concealed this quality. After coming to Beijing, as she broadened her horizons, the concealed quality slowly began to emerge. Now you could hardly see any trace of her past in Cuihua. If you were to say that she was the rich daughter of a wealthy family, people would believe it. Cuihua chuckled and said, Sister Jianghu, you sure know how to flatter. How am I as brilliant as you say? You're much smarter than I am. The two started to exchange compliments. Over at the Li family. When Li Ronghua came back, the Li family were having dinner. Han Xiaoqin looked at Li Ronghua. Ronghua, how did your visit to Wenhua's go today? What did his parents say? What did they say? Li Ronghua looked at Han Xiaoqin with some confusion. Han Xiaoqin just spread it out and said, Ronghua, you and Wenhua are not getting any younger, especially for girls of your age who can't afford to wait. What did Wenhua's parents say? When do they plan to come and propose? Han Xiaoqin was quite satisfied with Zhou Wenhua as a son-in-law. After all, Zhou Wenhua was a college student. From any perspective, Li Ronghua was marrying above her class. Li Ronghua was already 22 this year. In the countryside, she would be considered an old maid. Usually at her age they would already have several kids. If she doesn't get married soon, she will not get married at all. However, the Zhou family hadn't shown any signs of coming to propose. This made Han Xiaoqin a bit anxious. Li Ronghua wasn't worried about this problem. She laughed and said, Mom, don't worry about nothing. Wenhua is only a sophomore this year. He would at least wait until he graduates from college before discussing our relationship. 2 years later? Asked Han Xiaoqin surprised. 2 years later you will be 24. Which girl who didn't study makes it to 24 without getting married? If the Zhou family doesn't want you by then, you'll have nowhere to go and cry. Li Ronghua said laughingly, Wenhua is not that kind of person. She had known Zhou Wenhua for so long, she firmly believed his character. Han Xiaoqin said, back then Qin Xianglian also didn't believe that Qin Shimi was an ungrateful man who abandoned his wife and children. But what happened in the end? What was Qin Xianglian's fate? Li Ronghua helplessly replied, Mom, you're going off track. How can you compare Wenhua with Qin Shimi? People are hard to read. I think Zhou Wenhua might not be such a good guy. Guden chimed in. Guden really didn't like Zhou Wenhua. He always felt that Zhou Wenhua was a bit dismissive of their family. Every time he came, he would refuse even a sip of water, acting as if he was some kind of golden phoenix. And yet his parents and sister really liked him. Li Ronghua glared at Guden. Go away. What do you, a child, know about this? What Zhou Wenhua? Is Zhou Wenhua a name you can say? He's your future brother-in-law. Guden shook his head. Li Ronghua, if only you were half as smart as sister and I Yang, then I wouldn't have to worry. Li Ronghua couldn't be bothered with Guden. Guden continued, just look at the boyfriend that sister and I Yang is dating, he's so good. Every time he comes, he does chores for her family, washing dishes, installing pipes, he even dug a ditch for her last time. But look at Zhou Wenhua, what has he ever done for us? Every time he comes he's so picky. Chapter 576. Can't lag behind, 2 more updates. _1 Guden is a child. His perspective did not encompass the complexity and apprehensions that adults possess. Hence, he sees things more clearly and transparently. Li Ronghua said, your brother-in-law is an intellectual, he is destined to have a stable job, to work in an office. How could he do such grueling work? Guden retorted, but Xiaomo's family is rich. How could Zhou Wenhua's family compare to Xiaomo's? Hearing this, Han Xiaoqin and Guden's father's expressions changed. No one had mentioned this before and they had not felt anything. But now that Guden has mentioned it, it seems like Zhou Wenhua does look down on their family. Guden's dad exhaled a puff of dry smoke. Xiaomo is indeed an exceptional child. Each time he sees us, he is always polite. Zhou Wenhua, whenever he sees people from the village, it's as if he wishes he could hold his head high in the clouds, let alone offer a greeting. Li Ronghua disagreed. Different people have different personalities. Wenhua is not a talkative person by nature. Han Xiaoqin frowned, then said, Ronghua, you should go talk to Wenhua's family about this matter tomorrow. If they do not show some sincerity, Let them pay back all the money that you have subsidized for him over the years, and let's just forget about you too. Li Ronghua is beautiful. There's no worry that she won't be able to get married. Why should she have to stick to Zhou Wenhua? Gooden's dad added, your mom is right. If their family is not sincere about this, let's drop it. No way. How could this be possible? Wenhua is only a sophomore this year, aren't you all intentionally making things difficult for him? Mom, Dad, how could you? Li Ronghua was extremely unhappy with her parents' decision. Your dad and I are doing this for your own good. Han Xiaoqing continued. Gooden is right. I suspect that Zhou Wenhua does look down on our family. Otherwise, he would not have been so indifferent all these years without giving you a title. As for their parents, they haven't even shown their faces from beginning to end. I don't think they value you at all. I don't want to argue with you. Li Ronghua slammed down her chopsticks and stormed into the house in a huff. Look at this child. You've spoiled her. What a temper. Han Xiaoqing looked at Gooden's dad, her face filled with anger. They didn't discriminate between men and women in their family, and since Li Ronghua was the only daughter, she had been inevitably spoiled a bit more. The reason Li Ronghua didn't continue her studies wasn't because her parents wouldn't let her. It was entirely because she didn't want to. Gooden's dad sighed, let's just let her be. The next morning, Li Ronghua went to work without having breakfast. And Yang just happened to be free today and came to help at the noodle restaurant. The business in the noodle restaurant was as good as ever. Ever since it opened, there has never been a shortage of people waiting in line. Let me tell you, the pickled fish noodles here are so delicious. They'll treat us today. Really? Absolutely. This voice sounds familiar. And Yang looked up. Isn't this the two aunts I met at the airport last time? And Yang squinted, walked into the kitchen, brought out the camera and placed it on the windowsill. The lens was pointed directly at their table. Li Ronghua is a good girl and a good employee. And Yang didn't want her to be deceived. Although he is not sure whether or not this woman is Li Ronghua's boyfriend's mother, and Yang does not want to miss the opportunity for Li Ronghua to see the truth. After he had put the camera on the windowsill, and Yang came over to the table, may I ask, what would you two like to eat? Wang Meiying said, 2 bowls of pickled fish noodles, please. All right. And Yang nodded, please wait for a moment. When Yang brought the noodles to the table, Wang Meiying had already started boasting. She praised Zhou Wenhua to the skies. What counts as Li Ronghua? Li Ronghua couldn't even compare to a pile of dog poo. Daqiang's mom, let me tell you. Each time that girl comes over, she's always washing dishes and clothes. You can't even stop her. She even frequently gives my daughter pocket money. Really? Daqiang's mom found it hard to believe. Was there really such a masochistic young girl in this world? Even though Zhou Wenhua is a college student, surely he wouldn't have such burning feelings toward her? With satisfaction, Wang Meiying said, what do you mean, true or not? It just happened the day before yesterday. I even invited you to my house to visit, but you didn't come. If you had come, you would have definitely seen her behaving like a lapdog. Daqiangzi's mother said, when I have time, I'll definitely come to visit your home. Wang Meiying continued, however, you may not see it in the future. Why? Daqiangzi's mother was somewhat puzzled. Other families would beg to marry a bride, but the Zhou family is peculiar. They push away a bride-to-be who comes to their doorstep. The ones in the drought would be parched to death and those in the flood drowned. Because my son doesn't fancy such common girls who throw themselves at him. She's just working for a small business, while my son is a university graduate. Their social statuses are mismatching. To tell you the truth, my son now has a girlfriend who is on par with him, also a university student. Not only is she a pretty girl and a university student, but her parents are also high-ranking officials in the factory. Once my son graduates, he will become a leader in their factory. Daqiangzi's mother asked, so, are you saying Zhou Wenhua will break up with that girl? Yes. Wang Meiying said, brimming with pride. Daqiangzi's mother sighed, the benefit of education is undeniable. Daqiangzi is even 2 years older than your Wenhua, yet is still single. After finishing their noodles, the two sat at the table for nearly half an hour, all the time praising Zhou Wenhua. After they left, Yang put away his camera. Li Ronghua's mood was somewhat complicated, and on top of that, she hadn't eaten breakfast, hence she felt a bit off. But when customers came, she still perked up. Icy Skin Jade is a high-end skincare product. Although there are not many customers, once a deal is struck, the transaction amount is usually around 100 yuan. Thanks to Li Ronghua's excellent selling skills, she managed to get 500 yuan in transactions just this morning. Add in commission and such, she makes more than 200 yuan in addition to her 300 yuan salary each month. Sister Ronghua, there's a guy out there looking for you. Is he your boyfriend? One of the employees walked over to Li Ronghua. Another employee giggled, Sister Ronghua, your boyfriend is so handsome. Li Ronghua asked in surprise, really? Really? Li Ronghua rushed to the entrance and indeed saw Zhou Wenhua standing there. Wenhua. Li Ronghua was beyond joy and surprise. Zhou Wenhua is a university student and has always looked down on her job, so Li Ronghua was surprised that Zhou Wenhua would actually come to see her. Perhaps that's what love is. Li Ronghua, this is for you. Zhou Wenhua handed Li Ronghua a paper bag. Wow. Stinky tofu. Li Ronghua thanked him joyfully. Thank you, Wenhua. Indeed. There were stinky tofu in the bag. Li Ronghua was keen on these things that most people found distasteful. Even the food she liked was lowbrow. Zhou Wenhua looked down on it but smiled and said, You still have to thank me? By the way, when are you off work? Not for a while, Li Ronghua replied. Wenhua, you didn't come to pick me up from work, did you? Zhou Wenhua nodded and then asked, Is this shop selling skincare products? Yes. Zhou Wenhua continued, Does your shop have a special magical whitening moisturizer? Yes. Li Ronghua was touched. For her sake, Zhou Wenhua had paid such attention to her work. For a man to remember the skincare products a woman uses, it's truly not easy. Zhou Wenhua continued, Give me a bottle of whitening moisturizer. Li Ronghua paused then asked, What would a man need whitening moisturizer for? Do you want to give it to your mother? If it's for Auntie, I think wrinkle cream would be better. It's for Zijing. Her birthday is the day after tomorrow. Earlier, when Zhou Wenhua was out shopping with Su Ziqin, they accidentally stumbled upon one of the branches of icy skin jade. Zhou Wenhua had queued up with Su Ziqin for a long time at that time, but unfortunately, they didn't get the whitening moisturizer that Su Ziqin wanted. Therefore, Zhou Wenhua wanted to give Su Ziqin a surprise on her birthday. Li Ronghua trusted Zhou Wenhua completely. Hearing that he wanted to give Su Ziqin the whitening moisturizer, she didn't think too much of it, taking it as a normal social interaction. Even though she didn't go to university, she knew that it was very important to build connections in the university. She couldn't afford to be Zhou Wenhua's deadweight. Chapter 577. To buy whitening moisturizing cream, third update, _1 Li Ronghua continued, the whitening moisturizer for this month is sold out. If you want to buy it, you have to wait until the 5th. Wenhua, would you mind if I get it for you on the 5th? Zhou Wenhua did not directly answer Li Ronghua's words but instead asked, What date is the day after tomorrow? It's the 3rd. Li Ronghua replied. Zhou Wenhua countered, Then do you think it's acceptable for you to bring it to me on the 5th? Li Ronghua, do you think I can't afford it and are purposely trying to embarrass me? No, I'm not. Wenhua, how could you think that of me? Li Ronghua hurriedly explained, The whitening moisturizer is extremely popular. It's snatched up as soon as it hits the shelves each month. If you give me some time, I'll see if I can find a workaround. Really? Zhou Wenhua's expression slightly softened. Li Ronghua continued, Wait for me here. Then hurry up. Zhou Wenhua appeared impatient. Li Ronghua turned around and went inside the store. Xiaohe. What's wrong, Sister Ronghua? Xiaohe put down the aloe gel in her hand and walked over to Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua continued, Xiaohe, did you buy a bottle of whitening moisturizer last month? Yes, Xiaohe nodded. Why? Li Ronghua grabbed Ziahe's hand. Xiaohe, dear sister, can you do me a favor? Xiaohe was taken aback then said, What favor? Sister Ronghua, just tell me directly. Li Ronghua continued, Dear, could you let your sister have that bottle of whitening moisturizer? I really need it. Well, Xiaohe hesitated. Although they are in-house employees, getting the whitening moisturizer is also quite difficult, requiring them to queue and reserve like regular customers. If every employee took advantage of their internal resources to stockpile goods and sell them at high prices, wouldn't that create chaos? Xiaohe, my dear sister, please help me? Li Ronghua pleaded, I'm willing to give you my entire month's commission. What was a mere month's commission to her when she was willing to give up everything for Zhou Wenhua? This proposal tempted Xiaohe. After all, Li Ronghua's monthly commission was quite considerable. And Li Ronghua was the store manager, essentially a leader. She didn't want to offend Li Ronghua. Xiaohe continued, Sister Ronghua, we're colleagues. If you really want it, just give me half a month's commission. Really? Li Ronghua asked, surprised. Yes. Xiaohe continued, I'll go get you the whitening moisturizer. Thank you, Xiaohe. You're really like my own sister. Li Ronghua was extremely excited. She was also overjoyed that she could help Zhou Wenhua. Shortly after, Xiaohe came out with the whitening moisturizer. Li Ronghua took the whitening moisturizer. Xiaohe, things are a bit tight for me this month, can I pay you when I get my salary in the middle of the month? The whitening moisturizer costs 125 yuan a bottle. Li Ronghua had used all this month's salary to help Zhou Wenhua. She had just spent 200 yuan on a single fountain pen. Where would she get the money to pay Xiaohe? Xiaohe laughed. It's alright, wait till the middle of the month. I'm not dependent on this money. Li Ronghua was the store manager here, so she wasn't worried about her running away. Li Ronghua came back outside with the whitening moisturizer in hand. Zhou Wenhua impatiently said, Why did it take so long to come out? If you didn't want to do it, you should have just said so. There's no need to jerk me around like this. Li Ronghua immediately apologized. I'm sorry, Wenhua, it wasn't intentional. Erase your whitening moisturizer. Despite the groveling in front of Zhou Wenhua that felt deep to her bones, she didn't understand that a flower can never bloom out of dust. Zhou Wenhua took the moisturizer and asked, Do you have money on you right now? This was the first time Zhou Wenhua had asked Li Ronghua for money up front. In the past, it had always been Li Ronghua voluntarily offering money to Zhou Wenhua. Hearing this, Li Ronghua quickly checked her pockets. Pulling out the only bill she had, she handed it to Zhou Wenhua. Here, this is for you. That's it. Zhou Wenhua slightly frowned. Li Ronghua, are you worried I won't pay you back later? Relax, once I graduate and start working, I'll repay you every cent. He was just temporarily broke. How petty of Li Ronghua. What can you do with 10 yuan? Li Ronghua replied, I only have this much on me now, how much do you need, Wenhua? Thinking of his mother's words, Zhou Wenhua said, I need 1,000. 1,000? Li Ronghua was taken aback. Wenhua, why do you need so much money? This is her salary for 4 months. She doesn't have that much money right now. Zhou Wenhua impatiently said, This is between us university students, you wouldn't understand even if I explained. Li Ronghua bit her lip. Can your uncle and aunt help? My parents are getting on in years and my younger siblings need to go to school. How could you expect me to ask them for money? Li Ronghua, if you don't want to give me money, just say it outright. Why beat around the bush and insult people? Wenhua, don't be angry. I didn't mean that, Li Ronghua said. I will go back and figure something out. When do you need it by? Li Ronghua's father is currently renovating a restaurant for Ni Yang. Han Xiaoqin works in Ni Yang's noodle restaurant, and there are many aloe vera roses growing at home. Their income is quite optimistic, so it shouldn't be difficult to put together 1,000 yuan. Tomorrow, Zhou Wenhua replied. Wang Meiying has planned for him. As soon as he gets this 1,000 yuan, he will find an appropriate opportunity to break up with Li Ronghua. He's had enough of this life. Li Ronghua, an illiterate, is entirely unsuitable for him. As for the money, Li Ronghua gave it to him willingly. He never forced her. Li Ronghua nodded. I'll deliver it to your school tomorrow after work. Although Zhou Wenhua is on summer vacation, he's staying at the university due to their lack of space at home. I'll come and get it. Zhou Wenhua wouldn't let Li Ronghua come to his school. If his classmates found out he had such a girlfriend, how embarrassing would it be? You're so tired from studying every day, let me deliver it to you. Zhou Wenhua frowned and said, If I say it's not necessary, it's not necessary. Why are you so annoying? Fearing that she would upset Zhou Wenhua further, Li Ronghua immediately said, Okay, I won't go. When a woman is in love, she won't think that Zhou Wenhua was afraid of being embarrassed by her. Instead, she felt that Zhou Wenhua was being considerate, not wanting her to make the trip. Thinking this, Li Ronghua's heart filled with sweetness as if she had eaten honey. I'm going now, Zhou Wenhua said next. Let me see you out. Li Ronghua followed Zhou Wenhua's footsteps. No need go back, Zhou Wenhua said, his eyes filled with disdain. Wenhua, don't worry. I'll only walk a little bit, everything's fine at the store. Communicating with an illiterate person is exhausting. Zhou Wenhua took a deep breath, his eyes filled with impatience. After seeing Zhou Wenhua off to the mall, Li Ronghua returned to the store. After getting the brightening moisturizer, Zhou Wenhua immediately rushed to curry favor with Su Ziqin. When she got home from work, Li Ronghua discussed the matter of the 1,000 yuan with her parents. Han Xiaoqin said, Ronghua, are you silly? He doesn't even want to acknowledge us as family, and yet you promised to give him 1,000 yuan. Do you think our family is a bank? 1,000 yuan. In the past they could only earn 100 yuan in a year. "The Zhou Wenhua is good, asking for 1,000 just like that." Li Ronghua said, "Isn't this to support Wenhua's study? Mom, he is your future son-in-law, you wouldn't refuse, would you? We don't have that much money at home." "Dad." Li Ronghua turned her head to Gooden's dad. Gooden's dad took a puff of his dry pipe. "In our house, your mother is the boss." "Mom?" Li Ronghua looked at Han Xiaoqin again. Han Xiaoqin said, 1,000 yuan. Your brothers still need to go to school, where does the family have so much money? Li Ronghua continued, "Mom, you give me whatever you can and I'll figure out the rest myself. Surely that's okay?" "That's not possible. Ronghua, let me tell you, you can do whatever with your salary and we won't ask you for a penny, but don't think about getting any money from the family. Ronghua, haven't you realized it yet? The Zhou family and Zhou Wenhua do not value you at all." Li Ronghua frowned. "Mom, if you don't want to lend it, just say so. Why the need to insult Wenhua? He's not that type of person." Chapter 578, Capturing the True Colors of the Zhou Family, 5th Update. _1 Gooden's father tapped his tobacco pipe and said, "Ronghua, you need to temper your fiery temper. Your mother means well, she fears you might be deceived. 1,000 yuan is not a trivial sum. Zhou Wenhua is not that kind of person." Li Ronghua retorted, "Fine, if you don't want to help, so be it. I'm going for a walk." Li Ronghua put down her chopsticks and walked out. "Sis." Li Xianxia was just about to follow her but was stopped by Han Xiaoqin. "Let her go. This wayward child is getting worse. Sooner or later she'll come to grief because of Zhou Wenhua." In the beginning, Han Xiaoqin and her family were very satisfied with Zhou Wenhua. Zhou Wenhua was, after all, the first son-in-law in Jinghua village to have graduated from university. Giving them bragging rights, didn't he? But over the years, Zhou Wenhua's actions had increasingly disappointed them, especially with Mo Qishan as a comparison, making them look down on Zhou Wenhua even more. Mo Qishan, despite his rich background, was always so polite to the villagers, playing the role of a young man perfectly. As for Zhou Wenhua, he acts all high and mighty just because he's a university graduate, puffing himself up with pride. What was worse, is that the Zhou family has yet to acknowledge their relationship properly, clearly disregarding Li Ronghua yet. Li Ronghua still treats Zhou Wenhua like a treasure. Walking down the countryside road at dusk, Li Ronghua was in a gloomy mood, plucking flowers and plants along her way in frustration. Now that Zhou Wenhua had asked her for money for the first time, she couldn't let him down. Besides, Zhou Wenhua was a person with a strong sense of self-esteem. If he wasn't in trouble, he wouldn't actively ask for money. If she couldn't even fulfill this request of Zhou Wenhua's, could she still consider herself Zhou Wenhua's girlfriend? No way. She had to scrape together this 1,000 yuan. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the sound of a bicycle bell came from behind her. Li Ronghua turned back to find that the person on the bicycle was Ni Yang. Seeing Ni Yang was like seeing hope to Li Ronghua, so she immediately waved her hand. Yang. Sister Ronghua. Yang alighted from her bicycle. Li Ronghua asked, Yang, did you just come back from the city? Yes. Ni Yang nodded slightly. Are you taking a walk, Sister Ronghua? Li Ronghua also nodded, hesitated for a moment, then said, Yang, can you do me a favor? What do you need, Sister Ronghua? Yang, can you lend me 1,000 yuan? Ni Yang was a big boss now, lending her 1,000 yuan would not be a problem. Ni Yang asked with concern, Sister Ronghua, have you encountered some difficulties? Li Ronghua's family was not exactly poor. There was no reason for them to borrow money unless they had encountered a serious problem. Li Ronghua replied, It's not a big problem, just a bit of an emergency. Does it have anything to do with your boyfriend? asked Ni Yang. Yes, Li Ronghua nodded. Ni Yang frowned slightly. Your boyfriend is a university student, what does he need so much money for? Li Ronghua replied, There are many expenses at university. Yang, can you help me out for now? I'll pay you back from my salary. Recalling the footage she had taken in the morning, Ni Yang said, Let's talk about the money later. Sister Ronghua, come with me to my house. I want to show you something. What is it? Li Ronghua asked. You'll know when you see it. Li Ronghua followed Ni Yang to the Ni family's house. Ni Yang immediately led Ronghua to their new house, and they entered the living room on the first floor. Even though they hadn't moved into the new house yet, all the furniture was already arranged. The retro-style decor, even the sofa was made of redwood, looked very pleasing to the eye. Li Ronghua visited Ni Yang's new house for the first time and expressed her surprise. Yang, your home's renovation is beautiful. It looks just like the ones on TV. And Yang gave a faint smile. Sister Ronghua, please take a seat. Sure. Li Ronghua sat down on the sofa. And Yang walked to the TV, took out a camera from her bag and connected it with a data cable. Soon enough, a picture appeared on the TV. Li Ronghua excitedly exclaimed, "Hey Yang, isn't this your noodle restaurant?" And Yang nodded, "Yes, it's my restaurant. Today, I accidentally recorded something quite interesting when I was filming there. I'd like to show it to you." Sure. This was Li Ronghua's first time watching a video recording. Soon, a familiar face appeared on the screen. "Isn't this my aunt?" And Yang asked in confusion, "Do you know this person?" Li Ronghua pointed at Wang Meiying and said, This is my boyfriend's mother." "Oh," and Yang nodded slightly. Yang, why are you showing me this?" Li Ronghua was somewhat curious. And Yang continued, "You'll understand, Sister Ronghua, just keep watching." At first, Wang Meiying had nothing but praise for Zhou Wenhua. Li Ronghua was very happy and proud. "My boyfriend is really something." However, as she kept watching, Li Ronghua felt something was not quite right. Because Wang Meiying mentioned a shameless little girl who keeps throwing herself at her son and constantly gives him gifts. At first, Li Ronghua didn't realize this shameless little girl was her. Not until Wang Meiying continued, "That little girl even gave my son a pen the day before yesterday. I heard it's a brand from the USA. It costs over 200 yuan. In reality, my son wouldn't give her a second glance. My son already has a girlfriend from a family that matches ours. You haven't seen how she fawns over him." All those words struck a blow, slicing through Li Ronghua like a knife. She never thought that in the eyes of the elders she respected and loved, she was this kind of shameless person. Ironic. It was just too ironic. Her love for Zhou Wenhua was just a joke to her boyfriend's family. Li Ronghua didn't cry or make a fuss, she just sat quietly on the sofa, spacing out, wishing for a hole to stare at on the television. "Sister Ronghua." And Yang approached and patted Li Ronghua on the shoulder. Li Ronghua's emotions exploded in that instant. She turned and hugged Yang, crying loudly, Yang. And Yang comforted her, "It's okay, don't be upset. In life, who hasn't encountered a few jerks?" Li Ronghua continued to sob. She didn't understand why Zhou Wenhua and his family treated her like this. She loved Zhou Wenhua so much, where did she go wrong? Was it just because she lacked education? "Sister Ronghua, you should break up with that jerk as soon as possible. You are still young, you have a long life ahead of you. You don't need to hang yourself on a crooked tree." "I love him. I love him so much. Yang, do you know how much I love him?" She met Zhou Wenhua when she was 16. It's been 6 years now. No one knew how deep her feelings for Zhou Wenhua ran. "But he doesn't love you anymore," and Yang continued. "He's two-timing you and even wants to take your money, Sister Ronghua. He's not worth your love." "No. Wenhua wouldn't lie to me. Wenhua wouldn't deceive me." Li Ronghua shook her head. She absolutely could not accept that Zhou Wenhua had betrayed her. And Yang sighed, "Sister Ronghua, there's a saying, love makes people crazy. Now you are the crazy one. I hope you can calm down and think about it carefully. For instance, are there any suspiciously close female students around him? Since his mother said he already has a well-matched girlfriend, there must be some signs." Li Ronghua was stunned. Her first thought was of Su Ziqing, that extraordinary woman who was both a beauty and a university student. "No, Wenhua would never betray me." Li Ronghua wiped the tears from her face and stood up. "I'm going to find Wenhua. Unless Zhou Wenhua admitted it himself, Li Ronghua would never accept it." "Sister Ronghua?" And Yang kept up with Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua turned back and tried to keep her tone as calm as possible. Yang, don't follow me. I want to handle this myself." And Yang was somewhat worried. "But, don't worry, you'll be fine," Li Ronghua responded without turning back and left the place. Li Ronghua didn't know how she ended up at Zhou Wenhua's school. She had delivered sneakers to Zhou Wenhua here before, so she knew where his dormitory was. But Zhou Wenhua's roommate told her that Zhou Wenhua wasn't in, that he had gone out to watch a movie. As such, Li Ronghua stood at the entrance of the movie theater waiting for him. She waited for a long time. Only then did she see Zhou Wenhua emerge from the cinema. Chapter 579. Hero Saves the Beauty, Update 6:1 to be precise, Zhou Wenhua and Su Ziqing were coming out of the cinema together. Seeing Li Ronghua waiting at the entrance of the theater, Zhou Wenhua walked over with a displeased face. "Li Ronghua, why are you here? Did she already manage to raise the money so quickly?" He didn't want Su Ziqing to see him asking a woman for money. Li Ronghua tried to smile. Wenhua, what are you doing here? Did you come to the movies with Ziqin? Yeah, so what? Li Ronghua clung to Zhou Wenhua's arm. Wenhua, we've never watched a movie together. Will you watch one with me? Zhou Wenhua jerked his arm away disgustedly. Li Ronghua, what's gotten into you? Li Ronghua looked up at Zhou Wenhua. Wenhua, do you love me? At her words, Su Ziqin also looked up at Zhou Wenhua. At such a moment, of course, Zhou Wenhua could not speak against his conscience. What if Su Ziqin misunderstands? After all, he loved only Su Ziqin now. Li Ronghua, stopped making a scene. Zhou Wenhua was caught between a rock and a hard place. He had no idea what Li Ronghua was playing at. Wenhua, you love me, don't you? Wenhua, you love me, don't you? The tears welled up in Li Ronghua's eyes and spilled down her cheeks. Her love was humble. As long as Zhou Wenhua nodded and said he loved her, she would believe it. Zhou Wenhua knew that if he nodded at this moment, he would lose Su Ziqin forever. Comparing Li Ronghua and Su Ziqin was of course more important. Li Ronghua, what on earth are you doing? Saying this, he grabbed Li Ronghua's arm and said in a low voice, go home first. Whatever happens, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Ziqin is still here. Let's not make a scene and give her something to laugh at. Li Ronghua looked at Zhou Wenhua with eyes full of despair. I just have one question, do you love me or not? Sister Ronghua, since things have come to this, let's lay it all out on the table. It's not fair to keep this from you. Su Ziqin came over and clung to Zhou Wenhua's arm. Wenhua and I are already together. Li Ronghua stood there in a daze, seemingly unable to believe what was happening before her eyes. You're lying, aren't you? You're just classmates. No, I didn't lie to you. Su Ziqin continued, Sister Ronghua, I know it's extremely unfair to you. After all, you and Wenhua have been together for so many years. However, feelings aren't something one can control. I hope to have your blessings. Shut up. Shut up. Li Ronghua pointed at Su Ziqin angrily, then turned to Zhou Wenhua and implored, Wenhua, tell her she's lying, you love me, don't you? Seeing the look in Li Ronghua's eyes, Su Ziqin couldn't help but feel sympathetic. However, she could only shake her head helplessly. At the same time, she felt proud of having such an exceptional boyfriend. If Zhou Wenhua wasn't exceptional, would Li Ronghua be so persistent? The victor, of course, would feel proud. At this moment, Zhou Wenhua must stand by Su Ziqin's side. He didn't realize how things would escalate to this. In his plan, he would first get 1,000 yuan, then confront Li Ronghua. In this situation, he would just lose 1,000 yuan for nothing. After all, his life didn't depend on it. But if he lost Su Ziqin, he would lose his future with her. Li Ronghua, Ziqin is right, she and I are already together. No, I don't believe it. Wenhua, how could you do this to me? Li Ronghua collapsed onto the ground in despair. Su Ziqin looked at Li Ronghua apologetically. Sister Ronghua, I owe you an apology. But it's not all my fault. In love, matching backgrounds and shared language matter. You only finished elementary school, while Wenhua is a university student. You're simply not meant to be. Li Ronghua cried into her hands. She hated herself for not studying more. Su Ziqin continued, Sister Ronghua, if you still have some dignity, stop pestering Wenhua. It's pointless. We wish you the best in finding your own happiness. The only response Su Ziqin got was a low sob. A sigh escaped Su Ziqin's lips. Sister Ronghua, it's getting late. We're going to leave. You should take some time to think. After she finished speaking, Su Ziqin walked away, arm in arm with Zhou Wenhua. At that moment, Li Ronghua sprang up and caught Zhou Wenhua's arm. Wenhua, don't leave. Don't abandon me. This sudden scene startled Su Ziqin. As a college student, coming from a privileged background, Su Ziqin had never met such a humble woman like Li Ronghua. Initially, she thought Li Ronghua would physically attack her out of anger. Zhou Wenhua violently pushed Li Ronghua away. Li Ronghua, have you no shame? At that moment, a pair of hands supported Li Ronghua. Can you not be so aggressive towards women? It was incomprehensible why such a man would even have a girlfriend. Mind your own business. Zhou Wenhua grabbed Su Ziqin's arm. Ziqin, let's go. Comrade, are you okay? Do you need to call the police? Wu Daming continued. No need, Li Ronghua shook her head. In the light, Wu Daming finally got a clear look at Li Ronghua's face, exclaiming in surprise, You're that older sister, aren't you? Wu Daming had a deep impression of Li Ronghua's fiery personality. Unexpectedly, Li Ronghua was also subject to bullying. Who are you? Li Ronghua seemed to have no memory of Wu Daming. You may not know me, but you definitely know my sixth sister-in-law and Yang, who lives in your Jianghu village, said Wu Daming. What happened to you? Do you need any help? No need, Li Ronghua shook her head again. Observing Li Ronghua's terrible state, Wu Daming continued, it's late. Let me drive you home. No need, Li Ronghua shook her head, then looked at her bicycle. I have a bike. Wu Daming said, you can't ride a bike in this state, we're from the same village, let me take you home. This was also a good chance to win some favor from Ni Yang and hopefully get introduced to a pretty girlfriend. Moreover, Wu Daming was a very upright guy. Now that he had run into this situation, he couldn't let Li Ronghua be in danger. Without waiting for Li Ronghua's response, Wu Daming carried the bicycle to the trunk of his car, then helped Li Ronghua get on the back seat. Li Ronghua's despair had reached its peak. She felt drained like a puppet on strings. Wu Daming, unaware of the situation, could only drive towards Jinghua village without asking more. Sister, where is your house? I can only drive up to the entrance of the village. Li Ronghua didn't respond. Sister, have you fallen asleep? Wu Daming turned back to look at the back seat. Li Ronghua hadn't fallen asleep, she just didn't want to talk. Sister. Wu Daming poked Li Ronghua's arm lightly with his finger. Li Ronghua still didn't respond. Oh my god, sister, don't scare me. Wu Daming panicked. Women are really scary. You shouldn't look for a girlfriend. Li Ronghua remained silent, so Wu Daming had no choice but to seek help from Ni Yang. Sister, stay in the car, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Wu Daming ran over to Ni Yang's house. Sixth sister-in-law. Ni Yang had just taken in her laundry and was preparing to take a shower. She was surprised to see Wu Daming and asked, What brings you here, Wu Daming? Wu Daming, gasping for breath, said, I ran into one of your village's older sisters in town. Something seems to have happened to her, she's in my car right now. Could you quickly come and check? Okay. Ni Yang put down the laundry basket. Without even having time to greet Ni Tsuehua, she followed Wu Daming to the entrance of the village. Sixth sister-in-law, it's this sister. When Ni Yang looked, it wasn't just any older sister, it was Li Ronghua. Sister Ronghua? Ni Yang started in a gentle voice. Yang, Li Ronghua lifted her head to look at Ni Yang. With Li Ronghua finally talking, Wu Daming breathed a sigh of relief. Sister Ronghua, what's happened to you? Li Ronghua wept silently as she hugged Ni Yang. Wenhua doesn't want me. He really doesn't want me. Ni Yang continued, Sister Ronghua, stop crying. Would you like to come home with me? I don't want to go home, Li Ronghua sobbed. Chapter 580, Break Up with the Scumbag. Update 7:1 She was too ashamed to face her parents. Ni Yang said, Then don't go back to your place, why not come with me to my house first? You can stay with me for the night. Okay. Li Ronghua nodded. Ni Yang turned her gaze to Wu Daming. Wu Daming, could you please help push Sister Ronghua's bicycle? No trouble at all. Wu Daming promptly pushed the bicycle and followed behind them. Once they arrived at the Ni family's residence, Wu Daming parked the bicycle in the yard and bid Ni Yang goodbye. Ni Yang said, Wu Daming, thanks for your help tonight. I appreciate you bringing Sister Ronghua back. Sister-in-law, you needn't be so formal with me. I'll be on my way then. Ni Yang nodded, be careful on the road. After Wu Daming left, Ni Yang led Li Ronghua into her own room, and then she went to inform Ni Tsuehua. Ni Tsuehua, being a kind-hearted person, asked with concern as soon as she heard about the situation, Is Ronghua okay now? No serious matter. Mom, could you do me a favor and visit Guden's house? You can tell Guden's parents not to worry. Ni Tsuehua immediately put down her English book. I'll go right away. Okay. Ni Yang nodded. By the time Ni Tsuehua got there, Guden's parents were already getting anxious and about to go out in search of her. Upon hearing that she was at Ni Kuihua's house, they finally breathed a sigh of relief. Since stepping into Ni Yang's room, Li Ronghua had begun to weep silently. Apart from crying, she didn't know what else to do. Ni Yang sat by her side, comforting her. Sister Ronghua, recognizing the true colors of a scumbag like Zhou Wenhua is actually a good thing. If you didn't see it until after you were married and had children, it would be too late for regrets. You're so young and beautiful. What kind of man can't you find? Zhou Wenhua is not worthy of you at all. Li Ronghua couldn't listen to these comforting words at all right now, she just kept on crying heartbrokenly. Ni Yang intensified her tone. Sister Ronghua, do you really plan to continue being dejected like this? It was only then that Li Ronghua raised her head to look at Ni Yang. Then, what should I do? I've lost everything. Zhou Wenhua was her everything. Now that Zhou Wenhua didn't want her anymore, what did she have left? You still have family. You have grandparents, parents, and 2 younger brothers. Do you really think they, combined, are not as important as a man like Xianxia? Do you realize how upset your family would be if they heard you say this? Especially Aunt Han, who worked so hard to raise you. Surely she didn't do it just so you could throw yourself away like this? Li Ronghua was taken aback. No one had ever said such things to her before. Everyone always said that the fate of a girl was like a seed. If it lands on fertile soil, it can enjoy a life of happiness. If it lands on barren soil, then it can only experience a life of hardship. That's why she was always dreaming about finding an exceptional boyfriend and marrying into a good family. And then she met Zhou Wenhua. When they first met, Zhou Wenhua was a high school senior. It was she who had accompanied him through failure after failure until he rose again. Because she believed Zhou Wenhua would certainly succeed one day. And indeed she was right. After 3 years of studying for the college entrance exam again, Zhou Wenhua was finally admitted to a second-tier university. Thanks to this, Li Ronghua was able to hold her head high in front of all her relatives. Li Ronghua loved Zhou Wenhua so much that she didn't even notice when he began to change. And Yang sighed and then said, "Sister Ronghua, a man is not everything. You should cheer up and strive to better yourself." Have you ever heard this saying? What saying? Li Ronghua asked. If today you look down on me, there will come a day when you might not be able to reach me. This simple, plain sentence carries an unexplained power. Most of the sadness in Li Ronghua's heart suddenly disappeared. Yes, she should cheer up. She would make Zhou Wenhua regret what he did today. She would become someone Zhou Wenhua could never dream of being with. And Yang continued, even the chairman said that women are now holding up half the sky. You absolutely must not bemoan or pity yourself or even abandon yourself. Doing so will only give satisfaction to your enemies and pain to your loved ones. Li Ronghua wiped her eyes and looked at Yang. Yang, you're right. I should cheer up. Yang smiled and said, Sister Ronghua, as long as you've come to your senses, that's good. She was afraid that Li Ronghua would descend into her own world and never be able to return. I will make Zhou Wenhua regret. Yan continued, making Zhou Wenhua regret is only secondary, your main task is to become better yourself. Only when you yourself become better can you meet better people. Don't let jerks get in your way. Li Ronghua nodded, thank you Yang. Yan was like a wake-up call. After that, Li Ronghua asked, what does jerk mean? This word was quite fresh, she seemed to have never heard it before. Yan explained, it simply means scum. Oh. Li Ronghua continued, Yang, I won't bother you anymore, I'll go back first. She had figured it out now and wouldn't be foolish anymore. Yan said, just stay here for tonight, my mom has already informed your family. Tomorrow I'll give you a day off and we can have a good wander around the city together. Li Ronghua quickly declined, no need Yang, I'm really fine now, you don't have to give me a day off. Yan smiled lightly, don't misunderstand, it's not just for you. I just want to go out for some fun myself. Sister Ronghua, keep me company, otherwise it'll be so boring for me alone. Li Ronghua knew that Yan was comforting her. How fortunate she was to have met such a good leader and friend like Yan in her life. Yan then took a set of pajamas from the cabinet. Sister Ronghua, you can wear my pajamas tonight. That night the two chatted for a very long time. In the middle of the night Yan asked, Sister Ronghua, what's your dream? What is her dream? Before, Li Ronghua's dream was to marry Zhou Wenhua and become a qualified wife. Now her dream is to become better and make Zhou Wenhua regret. Li Ronghua answered as such, then counter-questioned, Yang, what is your dream? Yan said, my dream is to make a lot of money, then buy a villa, car, yacht and travel the world. She is a simple person with no lofty dreams. She just wants to quietly be a rich person, living a comfortable life with someone she loves. As they talked, they fell asleep unknowingly. The next day when Li Ronghua woke up, Yan was already out of bed. As she stepped out of the room, she saw Yan walking out of the yard with a cup and toothbrush. The sunlight shone on her face. Sister Ronghua, you're up. Hurry and brush your teeth and wash up, it's time for breakfast. At that moment, Li Ronghua forgot all about the incidents of yesterday, smiling and saying, all right. Yes, life is so wonderful, why should she keep thinking about a jerk? After breakfast, Li Ronghua went shopping with Yan. They took a tram to get there. Shall we go to the clothing store first? A girl's wardrobe is always short of one piece. Li Ronghua nodded. Yan picked out a light blue cheongsam. Li Ronghua spotted a nice dress as well, but she didn't have any money on her and reluctantly let it go. However, when it came to paying, Yan paid for the dress Li Ronghua had wanted as well. Yang, And I Yen smiled, "Don't worry, this dress isn't a gift from me. I'll deduct it from your wages next month." Only then did Li Ronghua feel at ease. After buying clothes, they went to a shoe store. Ni Yen bought a pair of shoes for both Ni Tsuehua and little Ni Yun. Over the years, Li Ronghua had focused all her attention on Zhou Wenhua. She had never bought anything for her family. Thinking about this, she felt guilty and chose a pair of shoes for her grandparents, parents, and younger siblings. In the following days, she would do her best to be filial to her grandparents and parents. Shopping can really cheer people up. Soon enough, a smile crept onto Li Ronghua's face. "Is that Sister Ronghua?" Su Ziqin asked, pointing across the street. Hearing this, Zhou Wenhua, who was next to him, grimaced in disgust. "Why is she here again? Didn't I make myself clear last night?" "Well, you are so accomplished, it's normal for Sister Ronghua to not let go." Su Ziqin reasoned. "Wenhua, let's say hi to Sister Ronghua." Chapter 581, Scum Men and Women Seeking Abuse at Home, Update 8, Unders 1. Why bother greeting her? What if she clings on to us? Zhou Wenhua didn't want to see Li Ronghua at all right now. Su Zijin said, "That won't happen. I believe Sister Ronghua is not that type of person. Nowadays, men's and women's relationships are so open that it's possible to stay friends after breaking up." The more Li Ronghua clung to him, the more it highlighted her understanding nature. Without the green leaves, how can we highlight the red flowers? Under Su Zijin's persuasion, Zhou Wenhua reluctantly agreed to meet Li Ronghua. Ni Yang was discussing skincare with Li Ronghua when a young man and woman suddenly walked by. The woman enthusiastically greeted, "Sister Ronghua." Li Ronghua was stunned. After all, she had just experienced betrayal last night, and seeing this shameless couple so soon took her by surprise. "Sister Ronghua, you're not still mad at Wenhua and me, are you? It's all in the past now. I hope you can let it go. After all, there are many good men out there besides Wenhua." Su Zijin's voice was so soft that it made Li Ronghua shiver all over. Even though she had decided to be strong, facing the aggressive Su Zijin, she still lacked a bit of confidence. The illiterate elementary school graduate left an invisible tight hoop of shame around her head, making her feel inferior in front of this legitimate college student. Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrow. "So you are that third wheel, Su Zijin? Then you must be that freeloading, heart-stealing Chinshimi Zhou Wenhua, right?" As she said this, Ni Yang glanced at Zhou Wenhua. Zhou Wenhua had a face that fit the image of a scumbag. No wonder he was able to juggle women. Caught by Ni Yang's sudden gaze, Zhou Wenhua was stunned, unable to respond to Ni Yang's insults. This girl is too beautiful. Is she Li Ronghua's relative or friend? How come he didn't know that Li Ronghua has such a beautiful girl around her? He used to think that Su Zijin was the most beautiful girl in the world, but standing in front of Ni Yang, Su Zijin seemed invisible. "How could you talk like that? Don't you have any manners?" Su Zijin argued indignantly. "Oh really? So stealing someone else's boyfriend shows good manners?" Ni Yang responded with a faint smile. The mall was crowded. Hearing Ni Yang's words, many people chose to stop in their tracks and stay to watch the drama unfold. TSK. This girl is really shameless. She actually stole someone else's boyfriend. The onlookers pointed at Su Zijin and mumbled amongst themselves. Su Zijin, a simple college girl, had never been through anything like this. "That's not true. I didn't. You're just spouting nonsense." Zhou Wenhua finally snapped out of it and shielded Su Zijin behind him. "Comrade, I know you're trying to speak up for Li Ronghua, but this situation has nothing to do with Zijin. We're together because of love." Ni Yang retorted, "What about Sister Ronghua? When you were double-timing Sister Ronghua with Su Zijin, have you ever thought about how she felt? And you, Su Zijin, you knew Zhou Wenhua had a girlfriend but still got involved with him. Do you have any shame at all?" Ni Yang's words were hard-hitting. She ripped off the glamorous facade of Zhou Wenhua and Su Zijin, exposing their ugly sides to everyone, leaving them with no dignity at all. Su Zijin turned pale without any strength to fight back. She could be arrogant in front of Li Ronghua, looking at Li Ronghua as if she were a pitiful creature. But now the one standing in front of her was Ni Yang. "What a disgrace to our Zhou family. That woman's surname is Su? My surname is also Su. She embarrasses us, Su Zijin? What an ugly name. And Zhou Wenhua's name isn't much better. He's a cultured person, but he could do such a shameless thing." The crowd around them pointed fingers and whispered. Zhou Wenhua's face changed colors as he said, "There was no love between Li Ronghua and me. We now have the freedom to love, and love can't be forced. You shouldn't still be clinging on to me. Zhou Wenhua wanted to put all the blame on Li Ronghua. How could An Yang let him succeed? Clinging on to you? That's a joke. Think about who was clinging on to whom. And who came here first to pick a fight. You're a freeloader and now you want to bite back? Do you think Sister Ronghua is easy to bully? Zhou Wenhua had never argued with anyone before. At this moment, his face was flushed with exasperation. Unable to outtalk An Yang, he turned to Li Ronghua and said indignantly, Li Ronghua, we have broken up. Can you please stop this? Can't we part on good terms? Li Ronghua couldn't utter a word. She would have collapsed to the ground if it wasn't for An Yang's support. An Yang gave a faint smile, looked at Zhou Wenhua and said, since you have broken up, you should return what Sister Ronghua has given you, right? The Parker pen you keep in your jacket pocket was a gift from her, as were the branded sneakers on your feet. Over the years, your tuition, miscellaneous fees, and living expenses have all been paid by Sister Ronghua. You are not planning to welsh on your debts, are you? Oh, and by the way, yesterday afternoon, you took a bottle of Ice YU whitening moisturizer from Sister Ronghua. You've been freeloading off her for years, so you should at least pay her back with interest. The onlookers became very excited at this point. My goodness, this guy is so shameless, taking so much from the girl without a second thought. He's practically a real-life chin shimmy. And he's a college student. Seems like he fed all his books to a dog. The girl was so kind to him and he dared to cheat. Listening to the surrounding chatter, Zhou Wenhua's face turned from pale to green and then red, as if it was a color palette. It made for a rather amusing sight. He felt his manly dignity being stepped on and ruthlessly trampled upon. Indeed, he had been funded by Li Ronghua over the years. But that was Li Ronghua's choice all along. Why should he tolerate this humiliation because of her now? Su Zikin's face darkened as well. She had never dealt with such humiliation before. An Yang continued, Zhou Wenhua, you're not planning to ditch your debts as a college student, are you? If you dare, it'll take Sister Ronghua to meet your teachers and classmates. Let them judge who's right and wrong. We must get justice for Sister Ronghua. How could something that couldn't be mentioned in public be escalated to the school? Out of mortification and rage, Zhou Wenhua removed the pen from his chest pocket. Take this back. An Yang glanced at his feet. What about that one? Zhou Wenhua took off his shoes. An Yang looked at the shoes on the ground, kicked them casually, and before anyone could react, the shoes ended up in a trash can 10 meters away. Bang! There was a collective gasp from the crowd. That was amazing. Rather toss the shoes in the trash than give them back to this freeloader. What a spirit of vengeance. Can I leave now? Zhou Wenhua wanted nothing more than to leave this humiliating place immediately. An Yang spoke casually, what about the money? Or have you decided not to pay back what you owe Sister Ronghua? Zhou Wenhua emptied all the cash from his pockets and handed it to An Yang, eager to cut all ties with Li Ronghua immediately. An Yang counted the money, clicking her tongue. Only 50 yuan? Sister Ronghua supported you for 5 years, which would be around 1,000 yuan at 200 yuan per year. 50 yuan can barely cover the interest. Don't go too far. Zhou Wenhua gritted his teeth. Li Ronghua, if you continue this way, be careful that I will never forgive you in my life. He didn't believe that Li Ronghua would forget him that quickly. Li Ronghua would surely not insist on him repaying 1,000 yuan. Li Ronghua looked at Zhou Wenhua, her lips trembling. It wasn't until today that she saw Zhou Wenhua for what he truly was. She blamed herself for being blind all these years. Falling for a man as ruthless and selfish as him. Are you angry because you are embarrassed? An Yang smiled faintly. From what it seems, you want us to go to school and have your teachers and classmates judge this, right? Zhou Wenhua was momentarily speechless. What exactly do you want? An Yang handed Zhou Wenhua a pen and a piece of paper. If you don't have the money now, write an IOU for Sister Ronghua for the time being. Zhou Wenhua took the pen and paper. Chapter 582, The Great Abuse of Scumbags Men and Women, Update 9, _1 An Yang continued, I instruct, you write. Zhou Wenhua clenched his fist in anger and shame. Borrower Zhou Wenhua, due to financial distress, borrowed 1,000 renminbi from lender Li Ronghua on August 2, 1984, An Yang said before reminding him, remember to write 1,000 in capital letters. Zhou Wenhua's face was full of humiliation. His hand holding the pen was trembling. He never thought there would come a day when Li Ronghua would be reduced to this state. After a while, he handed the IOU to An Yang and said, here you go. An Yang reached out to accept the IOU, a fleeting silver light at her fingertips. At that moment, Zhou Wenhua felt a piercing pain in his thumb, while Enai Yang was pressing his finger on the paper. Instantly, a bloody fingerprint appeared on the black and white IOU. Enai Yang looked satisfied, waved the IOU and said, "Remember to pay the debt on time or else I'll take this to your school's leaders." What a disgrace. This was beyond humiliating. Zhou Wenhua wished he could burrow into the ground. He pulled Su Zikin's hand, squeezed through the crowd and left. Enai Yang slightly parted her lips and turned to look at Li Ronghua. "Sister Ronghua, are you okay?" Li Ronghua looked blankly at Enai Yang for a long time before saying, "Yang, you're amazing." If it hadn't been for Enai Yang today, she might not have been able to hold on. Not only did Enai Yang help her teach Zhou Wenhua a lesson, but she also made him sign an IOU. She was truly incredible. Although she had always known that Enai Yang was very capable, Li Ronghua had never admired Enai Yang as much as she did now. Enai Yang laughed and said, "It's nothing. Sister Ronghua, when faced with scumbags, you shouldn't feel afraid or guilty. They should feel so instead, as they were the ones who wronged you first. Keep this IOU safe and make Zhou Wenhua pay you back every penny. If he dares not to, we will make him infamous." Originally, going to the school was just to scare Zhou Wenhua, and Enai Yang didn't expect Zhou Wenhua to be so easily frightened and actually wrote the IOU. Now with the IOU, she was not afraid of Zhou Wenhua denying the debt. If Zhou Wenhua dared not to repay the money, Enai Yang had 100 ways to make him famous. "Yang, you're so kind." Li Ronghua hugged Enai Yang. Enai Yang patted Li Ronghua's back. "We're good sisters, it's only natural." Li Ronghua nodded. "Yes, we are lifelong good sisters." She would never forget Enai Yang's kindness in her lifetime. Enai Yang laughed and said, "Let's go, don't let the scumbags affect our mood, let's continue shopping." Yang, wait for me a minute." Li Ronghua picked up the Parker pen and walked towards the trash can. "Sister Ronghua, don't throw it away." Enai Yang immediately stopped Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua looked at Enai Yang with confusion. Why keep the pen that Zhou Wenhua had used? Enai Yang laughed and said, "Sister Ronghua, this Parker pen cost over 200 yuan, why should we be at odds with money? There is a pawn shop downstairs. This pen is almost new and can at least exchange for 100 yuan. "Really?" Li Ronghua was somewhat surprised. "Yes." Enai Yang nodded. The two went to the pawn shop and sure enough, the Parker pen was exchanged for 108 yuan. Adding the 50 yuan Zhou Wenhua repaid, Li Ronghua, who was initially broke, instantly became a little rich woman. Li Ronghua immediately paid back the money she borrowed from Enai Yang today. Enai Yang didn't refuse. After shopping, Enai Yang and Li Ronghua went to eat together. Today they ate Korean food. After a whole day, Li Ronghua had forgotten all the unhappiness, she seemed to have been completely transformed. She came home with lots of shopping bags and gave the gifts she bought today to her family. Gooden exclaimed in surprise, "Sis, you're rich. You even bought us so many things." A seemingly ordinary phrase, but it made Li Ronghua feel a little bitter. Over the years, she had always been supplementing Zhou Wenhua, she hadn't even bought her family a pair of socks. Han Xiaoqin also found it strange. "Ronghua, what's going on?" All the family's eyes were fixed on Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua fought back tears, preventing them from falling. "Nothing. I just want to provide for you all properly in the future." Gooden's dad put down his pipe. "Did Zhou Wenhua bully you?" "No." Li Ronghua shook her head. Gooden's dad wanted to say something more, but was hushed up by Han Xiaoqin. In the evening, Han Xiaoqin came to Li Ronghua's room. Li Ronghua was crouching over an iron basin that seems to be burning something. Seeing Han Xiaoqin come over, she immediately put out the fire in the basin. "Ronghua, what's the matter?" "Mom, why are you here?" Li Ronghua seemed a bit awkward as she got up. Han Xiaoqin looked at the smoky iron basin on the ground, took Li Ronghua's hand and sat on the edge of the bed. "Ronghua, please tell me, is it true that you had a fight with Wenhua? Such things, despite being temporarily hidden, can never be held back forever. Sooner or later they need to be laid on the table." Li Ronghua nodded. "Mom, we broke up." "Broke up?" Han Xiaoqin was somewhat surprised. Li Ronghua was her daughter, she knew how much Li Ronghua liked Zhou Wenhua, and the many sacrifices she had made over the years for him. Li Ronghua affirmed with a nod. Han Xiaoqin then asked, "What happened exactly? Why would you break up? What about all the sacrifices you've made over these years? Are they wasted just like that?" Although she had an unfavorable view of Zhou Wenhua now, she still felt sorry for her daughter. Li Ronghua went through the entire story. Han Xiaoqin began by cursing Zhou Wenhua. She then expressed her relief. Thank goodness Yang was there. Otherwise you would have suffered a terrible loss. You'll learn from this experience. Be more careful when you choose your next boyfriend. 8,000 yuan was a large sum during this period. At least Li Ronghua didn't lose everything, which was somewhat comforting. Li Ronghua nodded, I understand, Mom. Han Xiaoqing glanced out the window and continued, then I'll go back to my room. Mom. Li Ronghua stretched out her hand and grabbed Han Xiaoqing's hand. What's wrong? Han Xiaoqing turned back to her. Li Ronghua then said, Mom, would you sleep with me tonight? Okay, Han Xiaoqing nodded in agreement. This was the first time since she was grown up that Li Ronghua had shared a bed with her mother. Li Ronghua felt like she had returned to her childhood. The mother and daughter lay in bed, chatting about lots of intimate matters. At Ni families. After Ni Yang returned, Ni Tsuehua couldn't wait to inquire about Li Ronghua. Ni Yang smiled and said, Don't worry, Sister Ronghua is okay. That's good, Ni Tsuehua nodded. Ronghua is a good girl, a bit naive. I didn't expect that she would encounter such a man. It's fortunate she didn't marry him. If they had married, it would have ruined the life of Li Ronghua. Half a month flew by in a blink of an eye. In M country. The condition of Caroline's skin had been improving recently. The most noticeable changes were that her crow's feet and forehead creases had faded, and even her skin had become whiter. She looked more than 10 years younger. Wherever she went, people would ask her which skincare products she used. Caroline smiled and said, This skincare product is called Ice's Jade Skin. However, you can't buy it here. You need to go China to get it. Is it a skincare product produced in China? Yes. Caroline nodded. She absolutely trusted Ice's Jade Skin now. So where did you buy it? Can you help me get a set? Caroline regretfully said, That may not be possible, someone else gave this to me as a gift. Oh, I see. Seeing that there was not much wrinkle cream left in the bottle, which was enough for only 3 months, Caroline immediately went to find Annie. When Annie saw Caroline, she was also taken aback. Oh my dear. You look so much younger. Caroline smiled and said, Thanks to the bottle of wrinkle cream you gave me. Dear, would you help me buy a few more bottles? Money is not a problem. This product was so good that she would willingly spend all her fortune on it. Annie was surprised. Is that wrinkle cream really that amazing? Caroline pulled Annie towards the mirror. Of course. Just look at my face. In the mirror, 2 contrasting faces were reflected. One showed signs of aging with numerous lines and wrinkles. The other appeared radiant with full vitality. Annie was about the same age as Caroline. They used to look similar, but now, it seemed as if Annie had aged overnight. Caroline continued, My dear, you don't have to believe in Ice's Jade Skin, but I do. I am so thankful that it was you who introduced me to such an amazing product. You must help me bring back a few more bottles. Chapter 583. The Spirit of Traditional Chinese Medicine Admired by the People of F Country. Update 10_1 Annie was slightly stunned. She really hadn't expected the Bing Jiu Fu cream to have such a great effect. This was too miraculous. If she'd known how good the Bing Jiu Fu cream was, she would definitely have kept it for her own use and not given it away to others. For a moment, Annie was filled with regret. After Caroline left, Annie immediately went to Emily's school. Only after seeing Emily, did Annie realize that Caroline wasn't the only one who had changed. Emily had also transformed. Emily's skin was fair and tender, able to drip water. Mom, why are you here? Emily was surprised to see her mother. Annie asked, Do you have any more wrinkle cream left? Give some to your mom. Emily shook her head. No, there isn't any left. Didn't I give you a bottle last time? Instead of directly answering Emily's question, Annie continued, Can you ask your friend to mail a few bottles over? Here's the money. Annie took out a bundle of cash from her pocket and stuffed it into Emily's hand. Emily was a little confused. It takes over 2 months for a package from China to arrive. The goods Ni Yin sent me after she went back to China are still in transit. Over 2 months? She wanted to use the wrinkle cream right away and couldn't wait that long. Why does it take so long? Can't it be faster? It only takes a dozen hours to fly over from China. Why are the postal services so slow? Emily frowned. Mom, weren't you worried that the wrinkle cream would ruin your face? Why do you suddenly want to buy it now? Have you already used the wrinkle cream? But I don't see any changes on your face. With the miraculous effect of the Bing Jiu Fu cream, Annie's face should not remain the same. Annie was very upset. I gave that wrinkle cream to your Aunt Caroline. What? Emily looked shocked. How could you give such a precious thing to Aunt Caroline? Annie sighed, I regret it very much now. But there was no antidote for regret in this world. If she had not given the wrinkle cream to Caroline, she would be using the wrinkle cream now. A bottle lasts 3 months, and by the time she finished a bottle, a new one would be on its way. Why don't you wait a little longer? Annie looked at Emily. Do you have an Yan's address? Emily was taken aback, then asked, Are you thinking of going to China? Yes. Annie nodded. For beauty, she was willing to pay any price. A trip to China was no big deal. Mom, are you sure about this? A trip to China wasn't easy. They didn't know a soul there, and the language barrier might make it difficult to locate an Yan. Annie nodded. Yes, I've made up my mind. All right then, hold on, I'll go get the address for you. The last time an Yan had left, she had given Caroline an address. Annie took the note. I might be going to China soon. You will be alone at school, so be careful. Yes. Emily nodded. Mom, remember to bring me some Chinese specialties. I heard from an Yan that China has a lot of delicious food. Sure. Annie gave her daughter a hug before leaving. China. Today was the day for an Yan to follow up with Georgia. Lying semi-recumbent in bed, Georgia spoke in her not-so-fluent Chinese. Divine doctor, you came. Madam. An Yan walked over, placed her medical box on the cabinet in front of the bed, and asked, Have you been feeling unwell recently? Georgia smiled. Not at all. I feel very good. For the first time in over a year, Georgia had laughed so heartily. She too could feel that she was improving day by day. That's good. An Yan rolled up Georgia's sleeve and began to take her pulse. Georgia looked at An Yan, her eyes twinkling with a smile. Just like when she first saw her. An Yan, dressed in a plain white cheongsam, sat quietly. Without doing much, she managed to pull Georgia back from the brink of death. An Yan had an extraordinarily beautiful face, as if kissed by God himself. Her enchanting peach blossom eyes could capture one's soul with every flirtatious twinkle. Her thick, long eyelashes allowed her to perfectly hide her emotions in a downcast gaze. The high, well-proportioned bridge of her nose, her ruby-hued lips, and her smooth, luminous skin made her even more enchanting than the blooming mutant flower in the room. This was the beauty esteemed by the Chinese. Her allure was irreplaceable. Having just let go of George's hand, Mr. Abner walked in. Divine Doctor An Yan, how is my mother doing now? An Yan glanced back. Madam is all right now. She should take a light diet for a while and she should be able to get out of bed in about half a month. Really? George's eyes welled up with tears. She excitedly grabbed An Yan's hand. Divine Doctor, can I really stand up? Originally, she had thought that her recovery would be the biggest surprise. But she never expected that she would be able to stand up. Perhaps nobody could understand the feeling of a paralyzed person who could suddenly stand up. Yes, indeed. An Yan nodded. Abner was overjoyed, holding George's hand, and said, Mom, did you hear that? You can stand up. Yes, I heard. Mother and son were so happy that they wept tears of joy. Outside the window, the sky was perfectly clear. A crepe myrtle flower leaning against the wall was blooming profusely. A light breeze wafted over, carrying a faint fragrance. Georgia held An Yan's hand, repeatedly thanking her, and then asked, Divine Doctor An Yan, how old are you this year? 18. An Yan answered. Georgia said, So Abner is 12 years older than you. Do you have any brothers or sisters at home? I have a little sister at home. Georgia continued, Then take your little sister over to visit when you have time. Okay, I will. Divine Doctor An Yan. Mr. Abner started. Yes. Mr. Abner continued, You saved my mother and have thus become our benefactor. In China, there's a saying that one should repay a small kindness with a fountain of gratitude, let alone saving a life. This is a token of gratitude from my mother and I. Please do accept it. No sooner had he finished this sentence than a servant brought over a small briefcase. Mr. Abner walked over and opened the briefcase. It was filled entirely with USD. Even though An Yan had seen much of the world in her previous life, she was still slightly startled. Mr. Abner, I cannot accept this money. An Yan spoke lightly. Why? Mr. Abner was a little puzzled. Did An Yan think the amount was too little? This sum added up to 500,000 US dollars, amounting to 4 million RMB. It shouldn't be too small for An Yan. Georgia, who was in bed, was also somewhat confused. An Yan continued, My master's teaching was, a doctor does not distinguish between the rich and the poor. A doctor should cure the diseases of the sovereign, rescue the poor and destitute, and take good care of his health to be able to save others. If I accept such a large amount of money today, no one will dare to invite me to do medical consultation in the future. If my master knew about this, he would certainly be disappointed. So I cannot accept this money. N.I. Yan's master was a very good practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. When N.I. Yan first escaped from Dam village, the first people she met were her master and his wife. If not for them, N.I. Yan wouldn't have such brilliant medical skills, let alone thrive so smoothly in Beijing. The primary reason why N.I. Yan chose Beijing as her first destination was to make money and thrive. The second reason was because of her master. In N.I. Yan's past life memory, her master and his wife had only one son who died in a premeditated revenge incident. Each remembrance of their son caused a flood of tears from her master and his wife, leading to their premature deaths in their 60s. When N.I. Yan met them in her past life, their son was already gone. All that was left for them was a black and white photograph, with a clear date of his tragic end recorded at the back. What N.I. Yan was now determined to do was to rescue him from that premeditated revenge. In this life, N.I. Yan would not let her master and his wife endure the pain of losing a child again. The time of that tragic incident involving the elder brother she never met was fast approaching. N.I. Yan was prepared for that moment. Mr. Abner looked at N.I. Yan, and his eyes were full of respect. He thought maybe this was the spirit of traditional Chinese medicine. Compared to the exorbitant fees of Western medicine, the spirit of traditional Chinese medicine was truly admirable. Divine Dr. N.I. Yan, I admire your spirit of traditional Chinese medicine. Mr. Abner gave N.I. Yan a deep bow. Chapter 584, Are You Dia? 11 updates, _1 This was Mr. Abner's first time admiring someone so much. And also the first time he fell in love with a country. He had always heard about the profoundness of Chinese culture, this time he experienced it firsthand. You flatter me, I am merely carrying on my master's teaching, N.I. Yang said with a faint smile. Yang. Georgia looked at N.I. Yang, may I call you that? You may. N.I. Yang nodded. I really like you. I don't have many friends in China, can I come to talk to you often after I recover? Georgia asked. N.I. Yang nodded, of course I'd be very happy to. Hearing N.I. Yang's response, Georgia was very pleased. After N.I. Yang left, Georgia turned to Mr. Abner. Abner, I want to discuss something with you. Mom, go ahead, Mr. Abner replied. I want to recognize a younger sister for you, Georgia continued. Is it N.I. Yang? Mr. Abner seemed to have guessed his mother's intention. Georgia nodded, yes. Georgia truly liked N.I. Yang. Hearing that it was customary in China to recognize goddaughters, she had this idea in mind. If such a pretty girl could become her goddaughter, she would wake up laughing even in her dreams. Of course, she would need to get her son's consent before proceeding. Abner, would you mind? Georgia continued to ask. Having such an excellent sister would undoubtedly be fine for Mr. Abner. The question is whether N.I. Yang would agree? Georgia replied, after I recover from my illness, I will visit N.I. Yang's home personally. This sort of matter would undoubtedly require discussion with N.I. Yang's family. Georgia was not the type to neglect propriety. Mr. Abner nodded. After leaving the manor, N.I. Yang went to the training class. With over a month passing by, the training effect was very good, and the front-of-house staff could start working at any time. The executive chefs were also busy tasting dishes and discussing the names of the dishes. As N.I. Yang's restaurant aims for a higher-end market, the names of the dishes couldn't be too plain. For example, spread your wings is the name for chicken wings slow-cooked over low heat. Gold branches and jade leaves refers to stir-fried meat with green and red peppers. Galloping across the world signifies braised pork trotter. While they were discussing the names, N.I. Yang sat aside, occasionally giving some suggestions. As for the taste of the dishes, with N.I. Yang's secret recipe, even a simple fried vegetable dish has its unique flavor. The chefs were very skilled, and with N.I. Yang's secret recipes, the dishes would exude an incredible aroma as soon as they were served at the table. Miss N.I., could you try this and tell us how it tastes? The head chef passed the chopsticks to N.I. Yang. N.I. Yang stood up and took a piece of fish. The taste is good. But we need to rethink the way of plating and the portion size. Chinese people prefer hearty servings, so most dishes are very large in portion. Actually, this is least preferred in high-end restaurants. Because in scarcity lies value, too large a portion doesn't look precious. How should we change it? The head chef was a bit confused. And Yang lightly smiled. Have you ever had Japanese or Western cuisine? No. The head chef shook his head. After all, a Japanese meal would cost 200 to 300 yuan. How could he afford that? And Yang smiled and said, it's okay if you haven't tried it before. I can show you now. After saying that, Yang took out a dozen photos from her bag and distributed them to the cooks present. These photos were taken while having Japanese and Western cuisine previously. And Yang continued, this is plating. Both Japanese and Western cuisines pay great attention to plating. A perfect dish not only tastes good but also looks good. It triggers both the appetite and the feeling of high quality. Hearing this, the chefs frowned. It sounds simple, but it's not that easy to do. That's true. Are the flowers on this Japanese dish fake? Who can make a dish look this good? And Yang didn't get angry, instead she picked up a radish and a kitchen knife while speaking. In no time at all, the radish in her hand had become a beautiful peony. She reduced the fish on the plate by half, then placed the carved peony on top. With a sprinkling of white radish shreds for garnish and a few mint leaves, a dish with high aesthetic value was created. The chefs were stunned. None of them had imagined that Yang had such incredible knife skills. Yang was really incredible. Any initial doubts vanished in an instant. If a young girl could do it, so could they, the professional chefs. Throughout the entire morning, Yang was learning from the chef how to plate the dishes and how to carve vegetables. Tsuehua also took little Yin out onto the street. The mother and daughter pair, both good-looking, were well-dressed and caught the eye of the passers-by. A middle-aged woman lingered in front of Tsuehua for a long time. Finally gathering her courage, she asked, are you Daya? Daya? Tsuehua was stunned. If she hadn't heard the nickname again, she might have forgotten that she even had such a nickname. How long had it been since anyone had called her by this nickname? Long enough that she couldn't remember. Tsuehua looked up at the middle-aged woman, thought hard for a long time, but couldn't remember who she was. Sorry, may I ask who you are? Daya, it's me, Danny, who grew up with you. Don't you remember me? This woman was Zhou Danny, who had grown up with Tsuehua. They were very close in the past, but after Tsuehua left, Zhou Danny got married and they lost touch. Only then did Tsuehua remember her childhood friend. She became so excited that her eyes welled up with tears. Danny. Is it really you, Danny? She remembered that Zhou Danny had a small mole in the middle of her forehead. The mole was still there. This woman was indeed Zhou Danny. Zhou Danny was also very excited. She hugged Tsuehua. Daya, I never thought we would meet here. Look at you, you're still so young and pretty. I've gotten old. Is this your daughter? Tsuehua was born beautiful. Back when she was 16 or 17, she was considered to be the beauty of the village. Later, her father fell ill and had no money for treatments. Tsuehua was sold for 10 yuan. Yes, Tsuehua replied, her eyes teary. This is my daughter Yun. Yun, say hello to Auntie. To meet an old friend from childhood was truly exciting for Tsuehua. Auntie. Little Yun obediently greeted. Yun? The child shares Daya's surname? Zhou Danny was somewhat confused, but she didn't ask. Instead she extended her hand towards little Yun. Come, shall Auntie hold you? Yes. Little Yun nodded. Zhou Danny's smile was tinged with tears. This child is so good and beautiful. Daya, she looks just like you. She continued asking, Daya, where have you been all these years? Is your life good? Tsuehua sighed. It's a long story. Let's find somewhere to talk about it. Zhou Danny nodded. I live nearby, can we talk at my home? Danny, you also live in Beijing? Tsuehua expressed surprise. Zhou Danny embarrassingly confessed. Daya, I'm not afraid you'll laugh, my husband is doing some peddling, he's a self-employed business owner. We're renting on Witter Street. Self-employed business owner was deemed as the least possible way of making a living in that era. Tsuehua responded, what's there to laugh at? My daughter is also a self-employed business owner, in a way we are in the same line of work. Zhou Danny was surprised. Your daughter, she is 3 years old, right? Tsuehua laughed as she explained, I'm referring to my eldest daughter Yang, she's already 18 this year, and this is my youngest daughter. Oh, I see. They walked and chatted. Soon they arrived at Zhou Danny's home. Zhou Danny also rented an apartment in a Sihiyuan. The house was tidy. As it was during the summer vacation, all her kids were home. Dashuan, Erchuan, Sanchuan, Xiaoshuan, come here, come. For children all ran over. Zhou Danny continued, this is your Daya auntie, she grew up with me, greet her. Hello auntie. Tsuehua was surprised. Danny, are these all your children? Zhou Danny nodded and went on, this is Dashuan, he's 16 this year, this is Ershuan, now 15 years old, this is Sanshuan, he's 14 this year, and this is Xiaoshuang, she's 8 this year. Dashuan to Sanshuan were all boys, Xiaoshuang was a girl. And Cuihua said admiringly, that's wonderful. If her children hadn't been abandoned, her second child would also be 17 now, the third 15, the fourth 12. Chapter 585. Old friends meet, 12 more updates. _1 I don't know if he'll ever see those 3 poor children again in this life. Zhou Danny laughed, what's so great? It's usually very troublesome. I have to buy everything in 4 portions. If someone gets more or less, they will quarrel and say it's unfair, and they often fight. Having many children brings many troubles, but most of these troubles are happy ones. Zhou Danny continued, now I'm going to go inside and chat with your Aunt Daya. Are you guys okay with taking care of your little sister Yunyun? Sure. Little Ni Yun is very cute and everyone likes her very much. Watching Ni Yun go with the children, Zhou Danny continued, you can trust them with Yunyun. Let's go inside to chat. Okay. Ni Cuihua nodded and followed Zhou Danny into the house. Zhou Danny's husband may be running a small business, but after all, there are 4 children to feed in the house. Plus, the business is not particularly good. The money he earns is barely enough. Their lives are very ordinary and are the type that can only afford meat during the holidays. But to Zhou Danny, Ni Cuihua is a guest of honor. After making Ni Cuihua sit down, Zhou Danny walked into the house saying, Daya, wait for me. I'm going to get you a treat. After a while, Zhou Danny came out with a fresh tangerine and handed it to Ni Cuihua. Ni Cuihua knew that this must be the most precious thing in Zhou Danny's house and quickly declined, Danny, we're like sisters, so you don't need to be so kind to me. Save this tangerine for the children. You eat. We have plenty at home. Daya. You'll be too formal if you don't eat it. Zhou Danny peeled the tangerine and put it back into Ni Cuihua's hand. Ni Cuihua was deeply moved and stuffed half of the tangerine into Zhou Danny's hands, saying, you also eat. Zhou Danny nodded, okay, let's eat together. The two chatted as they ate. Ni Cuihua told Zhou Danny about her past, and Zhou Danny listened with sighs. Daya, your life has been too hard. How could your father bear to sell you to such a family? Ni Cuihua responded with a bitter smile, it's all in the past. Zhou Danny sighed, the past is indeed past, but the hardships you endured were real. And those 3 poor children. She never expected that Ni Cuihua had led such a hellish life. Ni Cuihua with swollen eyes said, the ones I owe the most are those 3 children. Zhou Danny walked over and patted Ni Cuihua's back, comforting, actually for them it's kind of a blessing in disguise. If they continued to stay in the Mu family, who knows how that old lady would have abused them. Maybe by now they have been taken by kind people and are leading a good life. Hopefully, Ni Cuihua continued, I have been talking about me all this time. What about you, Danny? How have you been these years? Compared to Ni Cuihua, Zhou Danny's life has been quite good over these years. Her husband is an honest man who only knows how to work and earn money. She's the one in charge at home. 3 years ago they followed their fellow villagers to Beijing and started a small business there, successfully settling down in Beijing. Although they don't earn much money and their life is tight, it's at least happy because their family is together. The two chatted for a long time and before they knew it, it was evening. Zhou Danny's husband returned after closing his stall. Zhou Danny introduced Ni Cuihua, Old Zhao, this is Daya I often talk to you about. We grew up in the same village. Old Zhao, a man who looked very honest from his face, greeted Ni Cuihua. Ni Cuihua nodded, hello brother-in-law. Zhou Danny is 2 months older than her, so it's appropriate to call him brother-in-law. Old Zhao looked at Zhou Danny, well, since we have guests today, he'll go to buy some groceries now. Go ahead. Zhou Danny added, remember to buy 2 pounds of pork. Hearing about pork, the children playing outside cheered. We will have meat tonight. We will have meat for dinner tonight. Okay. Even if old Zhao doesn't normally indulge in food and drink, he won't be short of a few yuan for meat with guests in the house. You won't neglect the guests. Ni Cuihua hurriedly said, Danny, don't go to so much trouble. I want stay for dinner. It's obvious that Zhou Danny's family's financial condition is not very good, and Ni Cuihua didn't want them to make unnecessary expenses. Of course I'm here. Zhou Danny said, we only see each other once in so many years. How could you not be here for dinner? If you're not here for dinner, I'm not letting you return tonight. Besides, just look at how happy those little rascals were when they heard there was meat to eat. They'll surely be heartbroken if you don't eat here. Helpless, Anai Tsuehua had to agree and said, then let me tell my eldest daughter first so she doesn't worry about me being missing later. Great, let her come over to dine together too. Anai Tsuehua went to the door of the training class and waited for about 10 minutes before she saw Anai Yang coming out. Yang. Anai Tsuehua ran over. Mom? Anai Yang asked in confusion, why are you alone? Where's Yun? Anai Tsuehua relayed the incident of meeting Zhou Danny to Anai Yang. Anai Yang was also delighted that Anai Tsuehua encountered a childhood friend in Beijing. She smiled and said, Mom, let's get something to take with us. How many kids does Aunt Danny have? 4. Anai Tsuehua replied. Anai Yang nodded, there's a shop over there, let's go to the shop first. Anai Yang bought malted milk, candies, beef granules, biscuits, some fruits and 2 bottles of liquor, spending over 50 yuan in total. When they arrived at Zhou Danny's home, it was already getting dark. All the children had gathered in the living room. Old Zhao was cooking in the kitchen. Zhou Danny and the children immediately came out to greet them. Anai Tsuehua handed the bags of gifts to Zhou Danny and the children. These are all goodies for the kids. Zhou Danny chided, Dia, why did you buy so many things? After all these years of friendship, why waste money? Everyone's living conditions aren't easy, and Anai Tsuehua bringing so many things made Zhou Danny feel slightly embarrassed. Anai Tsuehua laughed and said, I didn't buy much, they just look nice. Speaking of Danny, this is my eldest daughter Anai Yang. Yang, this is your Aunt Danny. Anai Yang politely greeted, hello Aunt Danny. Only then did Zhou Danny get a clear look at Anai Yang by Anai Kuihua's side. She was surprised and said, Dia, your daughter is too beautiful. She's like drawn on a picture. Zhou Danny had seen quite a lot of people over the years, but she had never seen someone as beautiful as Anai Yang. Not only was the girl beautiful, but she also had a unique charisma. No wonder she managed to get Anai Tsuehua out of Dam Village. Anai Tsuehua laughed and said, this girl can't take compliments. If you keep praising her like this, I'm sure she will become overly proud. Zhou Danny responded, I'm not just flattering, my niece really is beautiful. Alright, let's not just stand here, let's go inside and sit. They all went inside. Old Zhao had already set the meal on the table, and the dinner was very rich with both fish and meat. Anai Tsuehua introduced old Zhao to Anai Yang. Anai Yang politely greeted, hello Uncle Zhao. Zhou Danny has educated her children well. Although they had not eaten meat for a long time, after each of them had taken a piece, they did not take any more, preventing any chaos over food. On the other hand, Zhou Danny kept serving meat to Anai Yang and Anai Tsuehua. Dia, you and Yang eat the meat. Treat this place as your own home, don't be polite. Unable to refuse, Anai Yang ate 2 large pieces of fat meat. She was unable to eat the last piece, but she still gulped it down with discomfort. After dinner, she quickly took her bowl to the kitchen, fearing that Zhou Danny would serve her more meat. Zhou Danny was a bit worried that Anai Yang did not eat enough. Yang, how come you've eaten so little? There's still plenty of rice in the pot. Don't worry about saving food for me, it's not a famine era now. Anai Yang smiled faintly, I'm full Aunt Danny. Zhou Danny was somewhat skeptical. Can you be full with just that? Is it because the food Uncle Zhao cooked isn't good? Anai Yang continued, Uncle Zhao's cooking is delicious Aunt Danny, I'm truly full. Anai Tsuehua chimed in from the side, Danny, you don't need to worry about her. This girl has always had a small appetite, always like feeding a mina bird. Only then did Zhou Danny feel relieved. Chapter 586. Guidance, 13 more updates. _1 After dinner, Zhou Danny and her husband, Lao Zhao, walked Anai Tsuehua and her daughter Anai Yang, carrying little Anai Yun to the tram station. Anai Yang was holding little Anai Yun in her arms. Anai Tsuehua tightly held Zhou Danny's hand. Danny, whenever you have time, you need to come over with your brother-in-law and the children. You can take the number 9 tram and get off at Jianghu village. Give us a call when you're on your way and he'll meet you at the village entrance. Zhou Danny nodded. We're a bit occupied at the moment, but we're definitely coming as soon as we get some free time. They'll be waiting at home for you all. Anai Tsuehua reluctantly boarded the tram. As they watched the tram slowly disappear into the night, Zhou Danny turned to Lao Zhao. How did we do in business today? Lao Zhao sighed, not too good. Since the people of Beijing like eating steamed buns, that's what we've been selling all these years. When they first started, business was good. But things went downhill recently, and it got to a point where they couldn't even sell steamed buns worth 1 yuan a day. They also had to pay 10 yuan every month as rent. Zhou Danny expressed her worry as well. What can we do? We have to pay the rent soon and the kids need to go to school too. There are so many places we need to spend money. Lao Zhao said, don't rush. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Zhou Danny suggested, do you think the problem lies with the market? What if you change your selling stall's location tomorrow? Lao Zhao nodded in agreement. The couple returned home with their faces full of worry. As soon as they got home, Xiaoshuang rushed over, grabbing their hands. Mom and Dad, come and see. Aunt Dia and Sister Anai Yang brought over a lot of good stuff today. Given it was dark out, Zhou Danny didn't really have a chance to see how much stuff Anai Tsuehua and Anai Yang had brought. Only now she realized that they had indeed brought a lot of nice things. There was malted milk and small chunks of beef. The candies and biscuits had already been opened by the kids. Zhou Danny also found 2 bottles of liquor. Even when their family visited relatives for New Year, they could not afford to buy so many things. Zhou Danny said, Dia must have spent a lot today. She was too kind. Lao Zhao stared at the 2 bottles of liquor for a while before finally saying, we should consider exchanging these 2 bottles of liquor for some money at the shop tomorrow. They're worth 35 yuan. We don't need a big profit. 30 yuan should be enough to pay the school fees and the rent. Even though this was slightly inappropriate, they had no other alternatives. If they didn't sell the liquor, their family of 6 would end up on the streets with the kids unable to afford school. Zhou Danny was silent for a moment, then nodded, all right. When we have money, we must thank Dia and her family properly. Lao Zhao nodded, definitely. The next day, Zhou Danny went to the shop and exchanged the 2 bottles of liquor for 30 yuan. The regular selling price for these 2 bottles of liquor was 35 yuan. The shopkeeper was more than happy to make this deal for 30 yuan. They were relieved to finally have the money for the school fees and rent. Zhou Danny let out a sigh of relief. After hearing Zhou Danny's idea, Lao Zhao changed his selling spot today, continuing to sell from his stall. As it was the inaugural day of the restaurant at 11:30 a.m., Anai Yang arrived at the city market. She bought cigarettes, liquor and prepared dishes, ready to treat everyone to a good meal. She bought various meat dishes including braised beef, pig's head meat and tiger skin chicken feet. People were in dire need of some decent nourishment at this point. Even if they ate a lot of meat, they wouldn't feel greasy. Moreover, they were all performing manual labor and needed to restore their energy. After buying the dishes, all she needed were the staple foods. Just then Anai Yang spotted a vendor selling steamed buns. Beijing people generally prefer wheat food, so Anai Yang steered her cart over and ordered, vendor, could I get 50 steamed buns please? There were 18 workers in the restaurant. A grown man could easily eat 2 to 3 steamed buns, so 50 steamed buns was really not that many. 50 steamed buns. The old Zhao, who had been originally hunched over eating his steamed bun, perked up upon hearing those words. He quickly put down the bun and picked up a bag. All right, please wait a moment. Anai Yang clearly saw old Zhao at this point and exclaimed, Uncle Zhao. Old Zhao also looked surprised. Yang. Anai Yang chuckled and said, Uncle Zhao, so you've been selling steamed buns here? Old Zhao nodded. Yes, but Yang, are you sure you can finish off all these buns? They'll go bad if you don't finish them quickly in this weather. Anai Yang assured him, don't worry, we have more than a dozen people for dinner. Only then old Zhao was relieved. He swiftly packed up 50 buns and handed them to Anai Yang. At this point, one could buy 4 buns for 1 cent. Anai Yang had occasionally bought them before, so she was familiar with the price. She took the steamed buns and handed 1 yuan and 3 cents to old Zhao. However, old Zhao refused to take the money. Anai Tsuehua and her daughter Anai Yang were so polite. If it wasn't for the gifts they brought, sending the children to school next month would have been a problem. If he were to insist on taking the money for a few steamed buns, it would be utterly heartless. Uncle Zhao, you are running a business, how could you not accept money? If you refuse to accept the money, then I can't accept these buns. Saying this, Anai Yang put down the buns. She knew that old Zhao's family had it hard, so she insisted on paying him. Old Zhao said, Yang, both you and your mother are so nice. You brought so many things to our house yesterday. These are just a few homemade buns, they're really not worth much. Unless you think these buns of mine aren't worth the money. Anai Yang said, Uncle Zhao, we have to be fair. If you want to accept the money, I'll go to the shop next door. After much persuasion, old Zhao finally accepted the money reluctantly. Anai Yang noticed a half-eaten bun on the basket and a flask next to it. Uncle Zhao, are you only eating buns for lunch? Old Zhao chuckled. Yes, it's far from home and I don't feel like going back for lunch, so I appease my hunger with some buns. They're good, sweet and soft. It's a much better time now. During the Great Famine, who could afford such fine white flour buns? In reality, old Zhao was eating the buns left unsold from a few days ago. They were dry and hard with no taste at all. Uncle Zhao, have this with your bun. And Yang handed old Zhao a wax paper bag. Am I right eating the buns? I don't need that. Old Zhao quickly declined. Please take it, I bought too much anyway, it will be a waste if I don't finish it. Having said that, and Yang continued, also, Uncle Zhao, are there lots of buns left over each day? Old Zhao sighed. Business has been slow recently, there are leftovers every day. So, the next day's leftovers are not that easy to sell? And Yang asked. Yes. Old Zhao nodded. The leftover buns from the day before aren't as good, so we usually keep them for ourselves. And Yang picked up the bun that old Zhao had eaten half of. The stale bun wasn't as fluffy as freshly made ones. They were dry, exaggerating a bit, they were like bricks. And Yang continued, Uncle Zhao, actually you could slice these leftover buns, fry them until golden brown on both sides, then sprinkle some black pepper or spread some ketchup on them. Those who love salty and spicy food can add black pepper. Those who like sweet and sour can go for ketchup. Then sell them in front of the school during dismissal time. They should sell well. The leftover buns, if preserved properly, don't harm health. They're just not as delicious as fresh ones. But when fried till crispy, they won't be affected at all, and will even taste wonderfully crispy. They would be well received by young people. Old Zhao seemed skeptical. Will that really work? And Yang laughed. I think you can give it a try. Old Zhao continued, what is ketchup? And Yang explained, ketchup is tomato sauce. Old Zhao was curious, can tomatoes be made into a sauce? Tomato sauce is actually invented by Chinese people. But, originally, it was not made of tomatoes but a pure fish sauce made from miscellaneous fish. The pure fish sauce had a mild salty taste with a unique flavor, and later when our ancestors found the taste a bit monotonous, they added beans to it, creating a low-grade soybean paste, which was very popular at that time. Likewise, during the Ming Dynasty, pure fish sauce became popular in the south and was named brine. The dialectic pronunciation at that time was kutsiap. Later on, brine was introduced overseas. This Chinese-style brine sauce became extremely popular, spreading rapidly worldwide, and was modified by foreigners into American-style tomato sauce. So, the globally popular American-style tomato sauce is not America's tomato sauce, but China's kutsiap brine. During the 1980s, when KFC and McDonald's were still not introduced to China, Chinese people did not really like tomato sauce. In fact, some people did not even know what tomato sauce was. And Yang nodded and said, of course tomatoes can be made into sauce. I'll write down the recipe for you, you can try it at home. With that, Yang pulled out a pen and a small notebook from her pocket. Chapter 587, Pre-Opening Celebration, Update 14. _1 She wrote the steps for making tomato sauce, stroke by stroke, very seriously. In no time she had written half a page. When she finished writing, she tore the paper from the notebook and handed it to Mr. Zhao, saying, Uncle Zhao, you can go home and follow these steps to make tomato sauce. Okay. Mr. Zhao took the note and casually put it in his pocket. After Yang left, Mr. Zhao resumed selling steamed buns. When Yang arrived at the restaurant, everyone was cleaning. The place had a pure vintage decor. Even the ornate frames of the ceiling lights were crafted in traditional style. Wooden screens separated the tables, and the carvings on them depicted Tang poems and Song dynasty lyrics, radiating an elegant aura. Even doing nothing in such an environment would make one feel relaxed and joyful. Yang is here, this is the sample clothes delivered by the clothing factory this morning, said Wang Tiniu, handing over a small bag. And Yang put the large and small bags of food she had on the table, surprised. They arrived so quickly? Having adopted a vintage theme, even the waitstaff's uniforms were designed by her, reflecting Han cultural elements. The men's were black and the women's were red. And Yang had just taken out the clothes when Wang Tiniu remarked, isn't this a historical costume? It's so beautiful, I've also seen it on TV. And Yang laughed and clarified, this isn't a historical costume. It's Hanfu, the traditional clothing of the Han people, which originated from the Yellow Emperor and thrived during the reigns of Yao and Shun. Oh. Wang Tiniu nodded, seemingly understanding. And Yang put the clothes back and continued, Uncle Tiniu, has everyone finished their tasks? We can have dinner once everyone is done. He'll go call them. And And Yang nodded, starting to tidy up the table. By the time everyone had come downstairs, the large round table was already full of dishes, or to be precise, full of meat. A pack of cigarettes was placed on each seat, and 3 crates of beer were placed on the side of the table, with baijiu displayed on top of the beer. Eating meat and drinking heavily, what a blissful life. And Yang called everyone to sit down. Everyone has worked hard recently, tonight everyone must drink to your heart's content. It's not hard at all. Yang, you're too kind. You must have spent a lot on these cigarettes and alcohol, right? They had never been treated this well anywhere they had worked. Nowadays, if a typical family could provide lunch every day, it was considered very good. But Yang not only provides lunch every day, she ensures meat is available in every meal. Working for her, everyone was full of energy and did not allow themselves to make any mistakes. Even if there were minor defects in their work, they would redo it. That's why the restaurant was so beautifully decorated. And Yang laughed. It didn't cost much. Uncles, please sit down. Under the warm invitation of Yang, everyone finally sat down. Though Yang could drink alcohol, she was only 18 and wanted to take care of her health, so she toasted everybody with tea instead of alcohol. Everyone enjoyed this meal immensely. The day passed quickly. Though Mr. Zhao changed his stall today, business was still not very good. Including the 50 steamed buns Yang bought, he only sold 100 steamed buns in total and had over 100 left unsold. As soon as he returned home, Zhou Danny come forward and asked, "How was business today?" "Not very good." Mr. Zhao handed all the money he had earned from selling steamed buns that day to Zhou Danny. Zhou Danny took the money and exclaimed in surprise, "You earned all this today?" Mr. Zhao nodded. "There's 2 yuan and 5 jiao. That's impressive. A caddy of flour costs 5 cents. A caddy of flour can be made into 10 steamed buns. 2 caddies of flour can be made into 20. There isn't much overhead, so if you can earn 2 yuan and 5 jiao every day, you could earn 75 yuan in a month. That's 900 yuan a year, so there's no need to worry about the children's schooling and rent anymore." Mr. Zhao added, "Another 1 yuan and 5 jiao is from Yang, who bought 50 steamed buns all at once." Yang? Mr. Zhao nodded and took out a paper bag from the stall. "This is what Yang gave to me to eat at noon. You warm it up and let the children have a taste." He could eat less meat, after all he was already old. But the children were growing, so if there was any meat he would save it for them. "What is this?" Zhou Danny looked down at it in surprise. "It's meat. Did Yang give this to you?" Mr. Zhao nodded. Yang is a good child. Not only did she look after my business, but when she saw me eating buns without any food at noon, she gave me this. Zhou Danny sighed and said, Yang is really talented. Not only did she take Daya and her sister out, but she also managed to thrive. I wonder what good deed Daya did in her past life. If it wasn't for Yang, Tsuehua would still be stuck in Dam Village now. Old Zhao added, Yang talked about a way to make money today. I wonder if it will work. What's the plan? Zhou Danny asked. Old Zhao discussed the idea of grilled bun pieces with Zhou Danny. Upon hearing this, Zhou Danny said, it should consume a lot of oil, right? They couldn't even afford to use oil for cooking. Where would they get the oil for frying bun slices? What if they grilled them and couldn't sell it? Wouldn't they have wasted the oil? Zhou Danny continued, we can't sell white steamed buns, how can we sell them if they're grilled? The more we fuss, the poorer we get. Let's not fuss about it. Rich households can afford the toss. Poor households simply can't afford it. Old Zhao scratched his head. That's true. Maybe we should make fewer buns tonight to avoid leftovers. Yes, Zhou Danny nodded. We can't keep failing to sell the buns. Should we think of more ideas? Old Zhao sighed. The times are tough this year, but maybe things will get better next year. Let's get by the second half of this year first. Zhou Danny smiled. Yes, let's not lose heart yet, perhaps business will pick up tomorrow? Right? Although the couple had lost faith in the future, they were still full of hope. After Yang got home, she tried on the hanfu. She walked in front of Tsuehua and asked, Mom, do you think this dress looks good? It's a Chi-Ru-style hanfu, unlike traditional hanfu. It has been modified so that the sleeves are narrow, and the skirt just reaches the ankles. This makes it easy to serve dishes and walk without getting caught or tripped. The top is white, the skirt and ties are red. Yang, with her slender and tall stature, looked stunning in the hanfu, which perfectly accentuated her figure. The interweaving of red and white made her radiant and striking, as if she had stepped out of a classical beauty painting, captivating everyone's attention. And Tsuehua nodded, beautiful. Even more beautiful than a fairy. And Yang happily twirled around, really? Would your mom lie to you? And Tsuehua replied with a smile. Little Yun excitedly clapped her hands on the side, beautiful. Sister beautiful. Even Duo flew to Yang's side, chirping non-stop. By the way, Yang am going to the mountain. Take care of Yun at home. And Tsuehua picked up the basket. What are you going to do on the mountain? And Yang asked. And Tsuehua replied, it rained last night, there should be plenty of matsutake on the mountain. I'm going to pick some and we can stir-fry them for dinner. Matsutake can be stir-fried and even added to flour to make spicy strips. Spicy strips with matsutake sell better than regular ones. Wild matsutake is sold at sky-high prices in later years, but in this unpolluted era, they are everywhere and worthless. Ordinary families are too busy with farming to pick matsutake. And Yang nodded, alright, take care. Okay. And Tsuehua walked out with her basket. Just as she reached the door she turned back. What's wrong? And Tsuehua said, he'll bring my English book for a read. She would read English whenever she was free. With her current level, simple communication with foreigners wouldn't be a problem. And Yang laughed, it's not safe to read while walking. You better not do it. You're right. And Tsuehua replied, I better go. And Yang glanced at the sky and then said, wait a moment, Mom. What's wrong? And Tsuehua looked back. And Yang ran inside to grab an umbrella. It might rain later, take the umbrella. And Tsuehua laughed, how is it going to rain under such a bright sun? Chapter 588, Have Good Things to Give You, Update 15? _1 and Yang put the umbrella into her basket. Put it in just in case it starts raining. Just as Tsuehua left, an elderly woman with white hair arrived at the door with a basket. Is Yang's mom at home? Grandma Lu. And Yang smiled and walked over, my mom just left. Do you need anything from her? Grandma Lu smiled and said, oh, Yang is here. Nothing really, our potatoes have had a bumper harvest this year. I just brought over some potatoes for you guys. This is the first batch of this year's harvest. I want you 3 women to taste them. Only then did Yang notice that Grandma Liu's basket was full of potatoes. The villagers of Jianghu village are all very grateful. Yang has been good to them and they are also very good to Yang. Whenever someone slaughters a pig or a sheep, or whenever the crops are glowing, they think of sending some food to Yang first. Yang smiled and said, Grandma Lu, you are too polite. We already have potatoes at our home. You worked hard to grow these, you should keep them. Grandma Lu is an old widow in the village. She has no children and lives alone, which isn't easy. Yang often gives her some food during holidays. However, something that truly moved her happened last year. Last autumn, the old lady suddenly came down with a high fever. She nearly died alone at home without anyone knowing. It was Yang who found out the abnormality and was able to treat Grandma Lu. Grandma Lu said, I can't finish these all by myself. Yang, you don't like my old self because I can't give anything decent, right? In the end, Grandma Lu pretended to put on a stern face. No. Grandma Lu, you've misunderstood. If you don't mind them, then keep them. It's not like it's anything valuable. I got to go now. If I don't return soon, the chickens will get my cabbage. Finishing her words, Grandma Lu dumped the potatoes on the ground and left. Yang couldn't let Grandma Lu go back empty-handed. Grandma Lu, wait a moment. Grandma Lu was already aware of Yang's tactics. She knew Yang must have gone inside to get something, and quickly covered her basket, ran away as if carried by the wind. When Yang returned to the yard, Grandma Liu's figure was already out of sight. She puzzled, where is Grandma Lu? Little Yun pointed at the door and said, ran away. Yang was taken aback. She never knew that Grandma Lu, even with her bound feet, could run so fast. Looking at the pile of potatoes that Grandma Lu brought, Yang suddenly had an idea. Yun, do you want to eat something delicious? Yes. Upon hearing the mention of delicious food, little Yun started drooling. Yang picked up 5 large potatoes, cleaned them thoroughly, peeled off the skin, and finally cut them into thin slices and long strips. That's right. The delicious food that Yang was making today was potato chips and French fries. Eating fries cannot be without tomato sauce. Yang also ran into the field to pick 2 large tomatoes. Making tomato sauce is real simple. First, peel off the skin of the tomatoes, Then cut them into pieces and stir-fry them in hot oil until they're mushy. After that, add water, and simmer it to reduce it down to a thick consistency. Normally when making tomato sauce one would add white sugar. But the homegrown tomatoes hadn't been treated with coloring agent. Every bite released a burst of fresh and juicy taste, soft and silky. They were so good in flavor that there was no need to add sugar at all. While the tomato sauce was simmering, Yang began to fry the chips and potato strips. When frying in oil, you need to parboil the potatoes in boiling water for 3 minutes first, then lift them out and rinse them in cold water. Afterward, drain them and fry them in the wok. A sizzling noise filled the air very soon afterwards. Little Yun stood by the pot, drooling with desire. By the time the tomato sauce was ready, the chips and potato strips were all fried up. Yang handed a portion of fries to little Yun. Yun, eat slowly, be careful, it's hot, okay? Okay. Little Yun nodded, immediately grabbing a fry and putting it in her mouth. Is it tasty? Yang asked. Delicious. Yang then scooped a bit of tomato sauce into little Yun's bowl. Yun, why don't you try dipping it in the tomato sauce? Given her young age, little Yun didn't quite understand what Yang was saying. Yang had to demonstrate it herself. The crispy on the outside, soft on the inside fries with a dab of sour and sweet tomato sauce made a remarkable combination. Little Yun chanted excitedly, delicious, it's delicious, it's delicious, sister. Little Yun was very smart. Yang only taught her once and she got it. Within a short time she had tomato sauce all over her face while eating it. Yang scooped the remaining tomato sauce into 3 small glass jars for the later use. Afterward, Yang took little Yun and delivered some fries and chips to Grandma Lu as well. Even though the elderly do have some teeth problems, consuming these isn't really an issue. When Yang arrived, Grandma Lu was standing on a stool changing a bulb. Hearing some noises from the door, she looked outside, her foot slipped and she almost fell, but Yang immediately held her. Careful, Grandma Lu. Even though Grandma Lu was scared, she still laughed and said, it's okay. Yang took the bulb from Grandma Lu's hand. This is too dangerous, let me change it for you. I'll do it, Yang, are you sure you know how? In Grandma Lu's eyes, Yang still was a child. Yang laughed and said, no biggie, I often change bulbs at home. The moment she finished speaking, she directly stood on the stool and started to replace the bulb. She was so cool that even men would have to marvel at her. Grandma Lu, however, was worried. Yang, be careful of the electricity. Okay. Yang casually turned, pop, and the light was on. Little Yun happily said, the light is on. Yang jumped off from the stool, used a duster to wipe off the dust, then returned everything to its original place. She handed Grandma Lu the fries and chips on the table. Here, try these. What are these? Grandma Lu tasted a fry, quite tasty. Yang smiled and said, these are fries and these are chips. Grandma Lu said, this is the first time I'm trying these special delicacies. What are they made of? Want to guess? Yang teased. Grandma Lu guessed, flour? Yang shook her head, wrong? Grandma Lu pondered a little more, glutinous rice flour? Still wrong. Yang kept shaking her head. Grandma Lu guessed again, so this isn't made from flour? Strange, the taste was surely that of flour. Yang laughed and said, Grandma Lu, these are made from potatoes. The same ones you gave us. Potatoes? Grandma Lu was a bit astonished. Can potatoes taste this good? Yang nodded, of course. If you want to learn, I can teach you. Sure. Grandma Lu usually gets quite bored alone, so she has a great interest in food. Yang explained the making process in detail to Grandma Lu. Grandma Lu laughed and said, I'll definitely try this tomorrow. By the way, Yang, come with me. Grandma Lu pulled Yang into an inner room, then turned around to carry little Yun inside as well. She mysteriously closed the door and switched on the light. Yang, wait for me. Grandma Lu went behind the bed and after a while she walked out with an old vanity case. Yang, come here. Grandma Lu gestured for Yang. Yang walked over. Grandma Lu, what's in it? Grandma Lu laughed and said, you'll know soon. As she spoke, she took off the hairpin that held her hair, and using the sharpest end, unlocked the little copper lock on the vanity case. The little copper lock seemed quite old, with a layer of patina on the surface. Click. Just as Yang was questioning if the lock could be opened, it was unlocked. As soon as Grandma Lu lifted the lid, a pleasant aroma, somewhat similar to ambergris, gushed forth. This reminded Yang of the village rumors. Everyone said that Grandma Lu used to be a young lady from a landlord's family and had sought refuge here during the war. It seemed like the rumors might be true. No wonder Yang always felt that Grandma Lu had a certain grace not found in ordinary grandmas. After the lid was lifted, what met the eyes were a few dusty silver hairpins and a binyo Korean hair stick, but because they hadn't been worn for many years or been maintained, these items had lost their original luster. Grandma Lu pulled open the second-layer drawer of the vanity case. Astonishingly, a translucent jade bracelet with excellent color and perfect luster rested in the drawer. Chapter 589. Old acquaintances finally meet. 16 more updates. Understanding, I am giving these things to you. Grandma Lu pushed the dressing box toward Yang. Yang was startled and quickly got up. Grandma Lu, I can't accept these things. What's wrong with accepting them? I'm an old widow without children or grandchildren, thankful to have you caring for me. Who else should I give these to? Should I rather take them to the grave? Yang still refused. Grandma Lu, these are too precious, I really can't accept them. In the future these things would all be valuable antiques. How could Yang accept such precious things from Grandma Lu? Grandma Lu sighed. I'm already 78 this year, my health is getting worse day by day, I might be gone any day. If you're not accepting these, I wouldn't be able to rest in peace even in death. An old person must plan ahead. She was a refugee without any children or relatives. Rather than letting these objects be buried in the ground when she died, she would rather give them to Yang. Although she has only known Yang for a little over a year, Yang treated her better than her own family. If not for Yang, she would have died last year. Yang continued, Grandma Lu, you are healthy and will definitely live a long life. Don't talk like that. Grandma Lu smiled. I know my own body, Yang, don't worry, these things I brought from home when I fled, they aren't of unknown origin or burial goods. This bracelet was given to me by my mother when I came of age. It's been 63 years already. Because this bracelet means so much to you, I can't accept it even more now. Since Grandma Lu had brought it all the way to Jianghu village and hadn't thought about selling it even in the hardest times, how could Yang accept such valuable things from her? Grandma Lu scowled. If you don't take it, should I rather bring it to the grave? After a pause, Grandma Lu added, I heard that cremation has already begun. Are you going to watch these things be burned to ashes? To preserve arable land, China started practicing cremation from April 27, 1956. In 1982, the townships around Beijing also began to implement cremation. Before 1982, many older people, due to their feudal superstitious fears of cremation, chose to end their lives early. Yang went on, anyway, I can't take these things. Why are you so stubborn? Take what Grandma gives you. Grandma Lu stuffed the dressing box into Yang's hands. Yang put the dressing box on the table. Grandma Lu, I really can't accept it. Yang, please do Grandma a favor, help me pass on these things. They're all antiques. If they get burned to ashes, won't it be a pity? Yang continued, Grandma, since you escaped here, there should be other relatives left at home, right? Grandma Lu sighed with bitterness in her eyes. No, there's no one left. My parents, my 3 brothers and my 8 sisters-in-law, 17 nephews and nieces, they're all gone. In the past feudal period, a man could have 3 wives and 4 concubines, so it's not strange that Grandma Lu had 3 brothers and 8 sisters-in-law. Grandma Lu, I'm sorry, don't be sad. Yang reached out and held Grandma Lu's hand. Grandma Lu, with rubbed red eyes, patted Yang's hand. It's all right. Yang was busy comforting Grandma Lu and didn't notice that Grandma Lu's other hand had quietly picked up the jade bracelet. Grandma Lu held the jade bracelet in one hand and Yang's hand in the other. By the time Yang reacted, the translucent bracelet was already on her wrist. Grandma Lu laughed. It looks good. Young people are indeed young. Wearing this bracelet, you look much better than this old lady. Yang quickly took off the bracelet. Grandma Lu, how could you do this? I really can't accept this bracelet. Grandma Lu laughed. It is said that jade bracelets have a very spiritual nature, they recognize their owners. See if you can take it off. If you can, I won't give it to you. If you can't, it means you're destined for it. It was strange, when wearing the jade bracelet, Yang didn't feel anything. However, when she tried to remove it, it seemed to automatically tighten, making it impossible to take off. Yang's wrist was rubbed red, but the bracelet was still on her wrist. Grandma Lu continued, I told you this jade bracelet is quite spiritual, it knows its owner. Yang said, do you have any soap in your house? Maybe it can be taken off with some lubrication. Grandma Lu laughed. This bracelet that recognizes its owner, it's not just soap. Even if you were a god, you won't be able to take it off. And Yang, not giving up, found some soap, rubbed almost a layer of skin off her hand, but the bracelet was still on her hand, not moving at all. Grandma Lu, with a beaming smile, stood by Yang's side. Yang, you're wasting your effort. This bracelet is meant for you. Yang spoke somewhat reluctantly, but it's really too valuable. No matter how valuable, it's just an item. Grandma Lu continued, this bracelet only shows its value when worn on your hand. With me, a grumpy old hag, its fate is only to be burned to ashes. Yang, I should be thanking you for helping me pass on this bracelet. At least, in the future years, someone will remember this old woman. Given this situation and the fact that she couldn't remove the bracelet, it would be pretentious to refuse anymore. Yang smiled, then thank you, Grandma Lu. The weather was nice today. Shengguan Dehui had a canvas on his back and came up the mountain for art inspiration. Jinghua Mountain is located behind Jinghua Village. Given its good location, beautiful scenery, and many rare wild animals, he decided to find inspiration on Jinghua Mountain. He came to Jinghua Mountain to find artistic inspiration and to clear his mind. After all, he just went through the things with Lin Fang and her daughter. The view on the mountain was even better than expected. Shengguan Dehui wandered around with his drawing board in hand. However, the initially sunny day was abruptly interrupted by a downpour. Shengguan Dehui held his drawing board close to his chest as he found a small cavern to take shelter from the rain. After the rain stopped, a hazy fog arose, making the mountain forest incredibly ethereal and surreal looking. However, as the day started to wane, Shengguan Dehui had to abandon his idea of sketching the view and began to descend the mountain with his drawing board on his back. The path downhill proved difficult to traverse, particularly after the rain and amidst the fog. Shengguan Dehui accidentally stepped on a stone covered in moss. He lost control and tumbled down the mountain. Shengguan Dehui clung onto his drawing board as he rolled downhill. Thud. When Shengguan Dehui regained consciousness, it was totally dark. It was silent around him except for the sounds of birdsong and insects. With the aid of the faint moonlight, he realized that he somehow had fallen into a pit. This pit was likely a trap dug by hunters long ago. It had been over 30 years since he last encountered such a situation. That was when he met a person he'd never forget in his lifetime. Would he die in this pit this time? Is anyone there? Shengguan Dehui shouted at the top of his lungs. There was no response from the wilderness. Is anyone there? He repeated his cry. Tsuehua was carrying her basket on her back when she vaguely heard a voice shouting. However, when she tried to listen more closely, she could hear nothing. Was she hearing things? Tsuehua continued on her way. After several shouts, Shengguan Dehui gave up on the idea. There weren't any logging sites nowadays. Who could possibly be in the mountains? Shengguan Dehui leaned against the pit wall, sat down slowly, and blankly stared at the starry sky when he heard faint footstep sounds from above. Someone? Shengguan Dehui stood up once again and asked, is anyone there? Tsuehua on the ground halted and looked around cautiously. She was sure of it this time, someone was definitely shouting. With the absence of footstep sounds and no one answering his call, Shengguan Dehui shouted once more. This time Tsuehua heard very clearly. She responded, who's there? Shed heard from the elders that spirits often roamed in the mountains. There were tales of ghostly figures lurking behind the foliage. Could she have encountered a ghost? Tsuehua was both intrigued and frightened. Shengguan Dehui was overjoyed to hear a response. There really were people on the mountain. From the sound of it, the respondent wasn't far away. Shengguan Dehui replied, it's me. I'm down here. Where are you? Tsuehua asked. Hearing the delicate fear in her voice, Shengguan Dehui assured her, please don't be afraid. I came here to sketch the mountain but accidentally fell into a hunter's trap. If you walk towards the east, you'll find me. However, be careful. The wild grass here is unusually lush. Okay. With a stick in one hand parting the tall grass, Tsuehua cautiously proceeded forward. After not too long she arrived at the trap. Are you here? Yes. Shengguan Dehui waved at her. I'm down here. Tsuehua found the voice somewhat familiar. Peering into the pit, she exclaimed in surprise, Mr. Shengguan, is that you? Shengguan Dehui responded in confusion. You know me? Tsuehua continued, don't you remember me? I'm Yin's mother. Chapter 590, Familiar Feeling Taking Shangguan Dehui Home, 17 Updates. _1 Shangguan Dehui hadn't expected to meet a familiar face deep in these old mountains. Even more unexpected was that it was Enai Tsuehua, someone he had met twice before. Enai Tsuehua immediately put down her back basket, crouching on the ground. She gripped the wild grass near the edge of the trap tightly with one hand, and reached into the trap with the other. Mr. Shangguan, quick, grab my hand. I'll pull you up. Shangguan Dehui reached out and even stood on his tiptoes, but they fell short of a few centimeters. He tried jumping yet still couldn't reach Enai Quihua's hand. At this time Enai Tsuehua continued, Mr. Shangguan, please wait a moment. I will go find a sturdier stick to help you. The long stick she had been using to part the wild grass was too thin to support the weight of an adult. There were many large pine trees in the mountains, but few branches that could be used as sticks. Enai Tsuehua also didn't have an axe or similar tool at hand, making it impossible to cut a wooden stick. Helplessly, Enai Tsuehua could only move a large rock over. Mr. Shangguan, please move aside. I will throw this rock down so you can step on it and grab my hand. Shangguan Dehui nodded. All right, thank you for your trouble. Enai Tsuehua rolled the large rock down alongside the pit wall. This time, when Shangguan Dehui stepped on the rock, he was indeed able to easily grab Enai Quihua's hand. Their hands gripped tightly. Enai Quihua's hand was not like those of ordinary farm women. It wasn't rough, nor did it have thick calluses. It was unusually soft in his grip, leaving Shangguan Dehui momentarily dazed. The reason Enai Quihua's hands were so well maintained was largely thanks to Enai Yang's skin care products, along with the effects of a proper diet. All those beauty and health foods she ate daily weren't for nothing. Mr. Shangguan, hold on, I am going to pull you up. All right. Shangguan Dehui clenched Enai Quihua's hand. Shangguan Dehui was an adult male with a height of 1.85 meters. The trap was also wet and slippery due to the recent rain. Even with great strength, there was no way Enai Tsuehua could pull him out at once. At this moment, the wild grass that Enai Tsuehua was clutching suddenly snapped. Bang! Shangguan Dehui didn't have time to react, and Enai Tsuehua was brought down by a sudden force. Both of them fell to the ground. To be precise, Shangguan Dehui fell onto the ground, and Enai Tsuehua was on top of him. They looked at each other like that as if time stood still at that moment. Although Enai Tsuehua was already 37, there was no trace of the years on her face. Her demeanor was composed and graceful. Through the tumult, it seemed he saw a familiar sight long absent in her eyes. Where had they met before? Shangguan Dehui narrowed his eyes. Ever since she left Dam Village, this was the first time Enai Tsuehua had been this close to a man. Her heart was pounding uncontrollably. It took her some time to collect herself to get off Shangguan Dehui and ask, Mr. Shangguan, are you all right? I'm fine, how about you? Shangguan Dehui also collected himself at this moment. I'm okay too. Enai Tsuehua stood up looking up at the ground. Now what? How are we going to get back up? Don't rush. We'll find a way. Shangguan Dehui reassured her. Just then Shangguan Dehui found a length of vine. It must have been carried down unintentionally when Enai Tsuehua fell. The vine was about as thick as a little finger. Shangguan Dehui gave it a tug and found it to be sturdy. I'll try climbing up first. If I make it, I'll pull you up. Shangguan Dehui looked at Enai Tsuehua. All right. Enai Tsuehua nodded. Shangguan Dehui gripped the vine, gritting his teeth against the pain in his ankle, and managed to climb up in a few movements. Enai Tsuehua also quickly started climbing the vine. Comrade, give me your hand. Shangguan Dehui reached out to Enai Tsuehua. Men are generally stronger than women. Shangguan Dehui easily pulled Enai Tsuehua up. Oh my! We finally made it up. Enai Tsuehua let out a long breath of relief. Comrade, thank you so much for today. Shangguan Dehui thanked Enai Tsuehua. Enai Tsuehua laughed and said, It's fine, it's fine. You once helped me too, remember? It's getting late, we should hurry down the mountain. When the fog thickens it will be difficult to descend. All right. Shangguan Dehui rose from the ground. At that moment Enai Tsuehua smelled the metallic scent of blood in the air. Mr. Shangguan, are you injured? It's nothing, just a skin wound. Shangguan Dehui said casually. Shangguan Dehui had injured his foot. He was limping and the descent down the mountain was exceedingly difficult. Let me assist you. Enai Tsuehua supported Shangguan Dehui's arm. At this moment even Shangguan Dehui could not pretend to be strong. He had no choice but to rely on Enai Tsuehua for support. Thank you. By this time the sky was completely dark, and there was not a single person on the mountain. After about half an hour, the two of them had finally managed to descend the mountain. Enai Tsuehua then suggested, Mr. Shangguan, you're injured and there are no cars in the countryside. Why don't we go to my house to bandage your wound first? Even though it might be problematic for a bachelor to enter a widow's home, Shangguan Dehui had helped her, and he was injured so severely. Leaving him in the countryside didn't seem right either. Moreover, it was night time and people likely wouldn't notice them. Shangguan Dehui hesitated. Would it be too much of an imposition? Not at all, my daughter is a doctor, she can help treat your wound. As soon as Enai Tsuehua led Shangguan Dehui to her front door, it was immediately opened from the inside. Enai Yang stepped out. Yang. Enai Yang exclaimed in surprise, Mom, you're back. I was just about to look for you. What happened to you? It had rained on the mountain and Enai Tsuehua had fallen into a trap, so there was mud all over her, making her appearance somewhat disheveled. Just as Enai Yang made her comment, she noticed Shangguan Dehui. Mom, who is this? Shangguan Dehui didn't look much better, especially with his injured foot. His face was somewhat pale. Enai Tsuehua said, let's go inside first. All right. Enai Yang nodded and helped Enai Tsuehua assist the man inside. Once they were inside the house, Enai Tsuehua introduced him to Enai Yang. This is your uncle Shangguan, the kind man your mom met on the bus last time. Mr. Shangguan, this is my eldest daughter Enai Yang, better known as Yang. Shangguan Dehui nodded at Enai Yang. Hello young comrade Yang. Hello Uncle Shangguan. Enai Yang was aware of the kind man that Enai Tsuehua had met on the bus last time. Enai Tsuehua continued to explain, your uncle Shangguan fell into a hunting trap while hiking up the mountain, injuring his leg. Yang, can you please take a look and see if it's serious? Enai Yang nodded, sure, Uncle Shangguan, please take a seat. Shangguan Dehui sat on a chair and rolled up his pant leg. His ankle was severely wounded, as though it had been cut by a sharp object, and blood was still seeping from the wound. The sight was somewhat ghastly. Enai Tsuehua frowned slightly, unable to imagine how Shangguan Dehui had climbed out of the trap, let alone how he had managed to walk down the rugged mountain path. His endurance was extraordinary. Enai Yang then said, the wound is quite deep, stitches might be required. Young comrade, can you stitch it? Shangguan Dehui asked. Enai Yang nodded, Uncle Shangguan, are you willing to let me stitch it? As an 18-year-old, many people doubted her medical skills. Therefore, before she could proceed with the stitching, she needed to obtain Shangguan Dehui's approval. Shangguan Dehui chuckled, why should I fear? Then please wait a moment, I'll go prepare some things. Enai Yang turned and went into the house. Enai Tsuehua followed her in. After stepping inside, she briefly explained Shangguan Dehui's situation to Enai Yang. Enai Yang wasn't the type to be unreasonable. Considering Shangguan Dehui was Enai Qihua's benefactor, it was only right for her to help him in this situation. Having returned from a different era, her thoughts weren't as traditional, nor did she have such societal shackles. By studying Shangguan Dehui's facial features, she could tell that he was not a bad person. Seeing that Enai Yang had no particular reaction, Enai Tsuehua heaved a sigh of relief. Bringing a man home out of the blue, she had thought that Enai Yang would be angry. Enai Yang picked up the medical box and added, Mom, why don't you take a bath first? Chapter 591, Well-Matched Couple, Update 18, _1 Enai Tsuehua nodded, alright, I'll go take a shower first. Half drenched, covered with bits of soil, she certainly felt a tad uncomfortable. Enai Yang stepped out with the first aid box, moved a stool in front of Shangguan Dehui and said, Uncle Shangguan, please put your leg up. Okay. Shangguan Dehui did as instructed. Enai Yang took out the medicines, cleaned around the wound with medical alcohol, and before proceeding with the stitches she said, Uncle Shangguan, I have no anesthetic here. It might hurt a bit later, please bear with it. Shangguan Dehui nodded in response. Enai Yang then handed him a chopstick. If you can't bear with the pain, you can bite on this stick. Thank you. Shangguan Dehui took the chopstick. A moment later, Enai Yang started stitching the wound. Stitch after stitch, like mending a piece of clothing, blood kept seeping out from the wound. Pools of bright red blood tainted her pale fingertips, but Enai Yang didn't so much as furrow a brow. Cold sweat started appearing on Shangguan Dehui's forehead. However, he didn't bite on the chopstick, but instead gripped the stool beneath him tightly without uttering a sound. Enai Yang glanced at him with a newfound layer of admiration. In her past life, she had seen many patients. Even under anesthesia, most people could barely tolerate the pain of stitching. Yet Shangguan Dehui exceeded her expectations. Soon the wound was stitched up. Sprinkling a layer of white medicinal powder on it, Yang bandaged the wound. Uncle Shangguan, it's best to keep it dry and avoid contact with water for a while. Also, refrain from consuming a lot of cold and spicy food. Come back after 7 days to have the stitches removed, she advised. Shangguan Dehui nodded. All right, thank you, Comrade Yen Yen. Yang smiled slightly. It's no trouble, it's the duty of a doctor. Shangguan Dehui glanced around the room and then asked, I hope you don't mind if I ask, is your father at home? He had called unannounced, so he should at least say hello to the host. He's no longer here, Yang responded calmly. Gone? At first, Shangguan Dehui was taken aback, but then quickly realized, I'm sorry, I didn't know about your father. It doesn't matter. Just then Chingue returned from work. Seeing Shangguan Dehui in the house, she asked, Yin Yin, we have a guest? Yang replied, Andy and I, this is my mom's friend, Uncle Shangguan. He accidentally got hurt while sketching in the mountain behind our house. Oh, okay, Chingue nodded and greeted cheerfully, Hello, Mr. Shangguan. Shangguan Dehui was 43 years old, wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses and looked gentle and refined. He had an air of intellectuality about him. Although he had developed a few fine lines around his eyes, it didn't make him look older, but rather lent him an air of composure. He seemed like an official visiting the rural suburbs. Such a man was clearly not ordinary. He seemed quite a match with Tsuehua though. Chingue thought to herself. Hello. Shangguan Dehui nodded. After a while, Tsuehua finished her shower and came out. Chingue pulled her aside and they started whispering. There were no secrets between Tsuehua and Chingue. Tsuehua provided Chingue with a detailed account of what had transpired. Chingue joked, well, you and Mr. Shangguan seem to share quite the destiny. He saved you once and you saved him in return. Tsuehua was startled. Sister Chingue, you can't just casually say things like that. Chingue laughed, I'm just saying it to you. It was indeed something that could not be mentioned lightly. What if Shangguan Dehui had a wife and children? After all, he was already of a certain age. Yet, it wasn't something that could be asked outright either. Upon returning to the main room, Shangguan Dehui suggested leaving. Given that Tsuehua was a widow, it was indeed necessary to avoid any potential censure. Chingue, laughing, suggested, it's already dark outside and the road is not easy to navigate at night. Why don't you stay at my cousin's house tonight, Mr. Shangguan? His wife and son just went to her parents' house a few days ago, so he's home alone. Having a man over at their place, a household of women, for the night certainly would be improper. But it's different with men around. Moreover, Chingue was considering playing matchmaker for Shangguan Dehui and Tsuehua. By letting him stay here, he could ask his cousin to find out more about Shangguan Dehui. After all, it's more convenient for men to talk to each other. Shangguan Dehui originally intended to decline, but his leg was indeed a little inconvenient. Therefore he agreed, saying, then he'll have to impose on you. Not at all. Chingue said, doesn't the chairman always say that we should help others for the joy of it? Yang said, in that case I will go and invite my cousin to come and have dinner. It was just 8 o'clock. Because there was farm work to be done, rural people usually eat quite late. Chingue nodded, all right. Chingue's cousin was Dahai, who lived east of Quihua's house. It only took a minute or two to walk there. Dahai was 37 years old that year. Despite his robust stature and being over 1 meter 80, he was actually very honest and treated his wife very well. After Yang explained the situation to him, he picked a few change of clothes and followed Yang over with a cheerful expression. Big brother, why don't you come and take a bath with me? If you don't mind, you can wear my clothes first. Shangguan Dehui responded somewhat bashfully, how could I possibly mind? Thank you. Let's go. Dahai helped Shangguan Dehui to the bathing area. Men's baths are always quite simple, just a quick rinse usually does the trick. About 15 minutes later, Dahai returned with Shangguan Dehui. Although Shangguan Dehui appeared slightly taller than Dahai's clothes fit him rather well. Yang enthusiastically asked them to take a seat. Tsuehua and Chingue were busy serving dishes. Little Yun opened her sleepy eyes and walked out from the inner room. She immediately recognized Shangguan Dehui and was so excited that she ran over, shouting, Fufu! Fufu! Little Yun. Shangguan Dehui reached out to pick up little Yin Yun. Little Anai Yun took out a piece of candy from her pocket. Fufu, eat candy. Little Anai Yun loved candy. Unless it was someone close to her, she would never share even half a piece, but surprisingly today she was offering it to Shangguan Dehui. Anai Qinghui laughed and said, "That's really rare. Our little Yun Yun never shares her treats." Anai Tsuehua served a bowl of vegetable lean meat porridge to Shangguan Dehui. "Mr. Shangguan, you've injured your leg so you can't eat anything too oily or spicy. Have a bowl of porridge first." "Thank you. You've gone to a lot of trouble." Shangguan Dehui politely thanked her. Anai Tsuehua said it was no trouble with a smile. Shangguan Dehui took a sip of the vegetable lean meat porridge, and its taste was surprisingly good. The porridge didn't just have vegetables and lean meat, but also fresh shrimps. The texture was very delicious. Anai Dehui was amazed as he ate. Yang Yang's cooking skills are always excellent as before. Anai Yang laughed and said, "You're wrong this time, all the food tonight is made by my mom." As she was busy treating Shangguan Dehui's wound at that time, Anai Tsuehua cooked all the dishes by herself. Anai Tsuehua was already smart and she became a good cook with Anai Yang's guidance, only except for some exotic dishes that she couldn't handle. Anai Dehui said, "Yang Yang's mom, you're really amazing, no wonder you can give birth to such an outstanding daughter like Yang Yang." After dinner, Anai Dehui took Shangguan Dehui to rest. As they were leaving, Anai Qinghui specifically exchanged a look with Anai Dehui. Anai Dehui, with a flashlight in one hand and supporting Shangguan Dehui with the other, arrived at his house. "Our conditions here in the countryside are not comparable to those in the city. You must not mind, big brother." Shangguan Dehui laughed and said, "City or countryside, it's the same for all of us if we go back 3 generations." His words didn't express any contempt for rural people, which made Anai Dehui feel very comfortable. Educated people really are different. Even their words are so pleasant to hear. Anai Dehui turned on the light and helped Shangguan Dehui sit down on the chair. "How old are you this year, big brother?" 43. "What about you?" Shangguan Dehui asked. "I'm 36 this year." Anai Dehui continued, "So, you are 7 years older than me. I should be calling you big brother?" Before Shangguan Dehui could speak, Anai Dehui poured a cup of water for him. "Big brother, your wife and children at home must be very worried because you haven't come home so late. We have a public phone in our village. Why don't you make a call to let your family know you're safe?" Chapter 592, Restaurant officially opens. 19 updates, _1 Shangguan Dehui shook his head. "No need, I usually live at the school alone. A sudden phone call home would only make them worry." Anai Dehui nodded, then asked, "Big brother, how many children do you have?" "A son and a daughter," Shangguan Dehui answered. Anai Dehui said enviously, "Then big brother, you're really blessed. I have just one son and want another daughter, but my wife disagrees, fearing we might have another boy." Shangguan Dehui smiled and said, "Actually, no matter the gender, having 2 children means they have each other's company, which is better than just one." "You're absolutely right, big brother." Anai Dehui slapped his thigh enthusiastically as though he'd found a kindred spirit. "By the way, big brother, you mentioned you live at the school. Are you a teacher?" "Amicho." Shangguan Dehui nodded his head. "A scholar, that's good. I just haven't read enough books in my life." Anai Dehui continued, "You said you live alone at the school, so your wife isn't a teacher?" Shangguan Dehui was silent for a moment before responding, "My wife passed away in childbirth." Anai Dehui said with an apologetic look, I'm sorry big brother. It's okay, it's been many years now." Early the next morning, just as dawn broke, Shangguan Dehui got up. The clothes he washed the previous night had dried. He changed into his own clothes and, after saying goodbye to Anai Dehui, he went to say farewell to Anai Tsuehua at the Anai family home. When he arrived, the Anai family was just about to have breakfast. Anai Tsuehua greeted him with a smile. "Mr. Shangguan is here. Please sit down and join us for the meal." Shangguan Dehui replied, "I want to eat, I disturbed you yesterday and I should be heading back now." He planned to go back, organize his things and then come over to properly thank Anai Tsuehua. Anai Tsuehua said, "It wasn't prepared just for you, we have to eat anyway so you might as well join us. It's not easy to find the way to the city bus station from here. Anai Yang and I will be going to the city in a while so we can go together." Anai Yang told Shangguan Dehui, "Uncle Shangguan, please don't be polite with us. Sit down and eat with us." After some persuasion, Shangguan Dehui finally sat down to have breakfast together. The breakfast was a glass of milk, an egg and buns with pickles, simple yet exuding a faint warmth. Little Ni Yun was just over a year old but could already feed himself, spoon by spoon. Although a bit messy, there wasn't porridge smeared all over his face, which was quite an accomplishment for a child. Fufu peel. Little Ni Yun handed the egg to Shangguan Dehui. Ni Tsuehua reached out to little Ni Yun. Don't trouble your uncle Shangguan. Mommy will peel it for you. No. Little Ni Yun pulled his little hand back. Want fufu peel? Ni Yang looked at little Ni Yun with a smile. Then, can sister peel it for you? Little Ni Yun lifted his chin. No. Ni Yang playfully pretended to be disgusted. Ugh, who wants to peel it for you anyway? Fufu. Little Ni Yun offered the egg to Shangguan Dehui again. Alright, uncle will peel it for you. Shangguan Dehui smiled and took the egg. This small courtyard, filled with the scent of flowers, lively and adorable children, and a delicious breakfast, was the first time in many years that Shangguan Dehui had felt such a warm moment. Moreover, he always felt an inexplicable familiarity with Ni Tsuehua but couldn't recall where he had seen her before. After eating, the 3 adults and 1 child took the car to the city together. When boarding the bus, due to an injury on Shangguan Dehui's foot, he nearly fell, but fortunately, Ni Tsuehua was quick to lend a hand. This moment seemed to overlap with one from half a year ago on the tram. The feeling of familiarity grew stronger. Yang's mom, may I presumptuously ask you a question? Inquired Shangguan Dehui. Go ahead, she replied. Shangguan Dehui continued, what is your full name? My name is Ni Tsuehua, she answered. Ni with the person radical, the Cui of jade and the Hua of flower. A very common name. Even more so than Dia. Shangguan Dehui's eyes flickered with a hint of disappointment. Perhaps he thought the reason why Ni Tsuehua seemed familiar to him was that they had met on the tram half a year ago. The tram jolted and stopped, finally arriving in the city after an hour. Shangguan Dehui got off at Tsinghua University. Ni Yang and Ni Tsuehua alighted near the restaurant stop. Having risen early, it was only 9:30 in the morning. The restaurant's opening was scheduled for 11:18 a.m., which was why Ni Yang arrived so early. She chose to open now because September was just around the corner. Come September, she would need to register at the school and study there for a week before classes started, leaving her no suitable time to prepare for the opening. There was a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the opening, but Ni Yang did not plan to be personally involved. Instead, she had poached talent for the ribbon-cutting, having spent a significant sum to hire Gu Lanji from a state-owned big restaurant, a 32-year-old graduate from a prestigious college. Where she had been earning 88 yuan a month before, Ni Yang offered her a salary of 308 yuan. To retain the talent, Ni Yang did not only provide a high salary but also rented an apartment for her near the restaurant. At 11:18 a.m., accompanied by the sound of 2 strings of firecrackers, 2 golden-maned lions emerged from the smoke, swaying and leaping, almost as if on cue. They clawed up onto a metal frame, kicked off from the ground with their hind legs, and with an impressive leap into the air, tore down the red cloth covering the restaurant's sign. Revealed to the air were the 4 grand and imposing characters, national beauty and heavenly fragrance, which immediately struck onlookers as spectacular. The lion dance team's exquisite performance captivated many pedestrians, who stopped to watch and applauded. Nearby, 2 waiters dressed in traditional Han attire distributed flyers. On the restaurant's first day of business, not only were all the dishes half-priced, but a complimentary dessert was also offered after the meal. Coupled with the beautiful interior decoration, it wasn't long before a multitude of customers were drawn inside. Although China in the 1980s was not affluent, this was after all Beijing, the heart of the capital, which never lacked rich people. Once inside, guests were treated like gods. First came the tea pouring, then the serving of sunflower seeds. This was a service not found in other restaurants, and even Western restaurants did not exhibit such a strong sense of service. The dining experience concluded with smiling service and waiters wearing beautiful Han attire, keeping the customers in a happy mood from the moment they entered the restaurant. Most importantly, not only did the dishes look appealing, but their taste was also top grade. A young couple couldn't stop praising the food. Excellent. The flavor is just too good. We've never had such delicious chicken wings before. The young man laughed. This place calls it dapeng spreading wings. Could it be the same as the chicken wings we usually eat? The young man was named Kai Xiaoqiang and the girl was Li Qin. Both were second-year college students and only children in their respective homes. Their parents were high-ranking officials. By modern terms, they would be called rich second generation, and money was no object. They chose this place firstly because of its nice ambience and charm, and secondly, they were attracted by the Han attire worn by the staff. After they entered, they realized they had indeed chosen well. No sooner had they finished their meal than a waiter brought out a visually appealing dessert. "Excuse me for a moment, but this is a complimentary dessert from our restaurant following your meal." "Wow. You even offer a dessert?" Li Qin said, surprised. "Yes, it's called a mousse cake with matcha flavor. Please enjoy your dessert at your leisure." Mousse cake, a delicacy that would originate in later times, did not exist in 1980s Beijing. However, Ni Yang, having returned from the future, had specifically taught her pastry chefs how to make mousse cakes during training. A restaurant needed to offer something unique to retain its customers. The mousse cake, a combination of ice cream and cake, had an incredibly smooth texture, fine, soft and melt in your mouth, 100 times more delicious than old-fashioned ice cream, quickly conquering people's taste buds. After finishing the mousse cake, Li Qin was left wanting more. Women have an irresistible weakness for tasty desserts. "Can we get another mousse cake?" The waiter apologetically said, "I'm sorry, comrade, but our mousse cakes are limited to one per table due to limited quantities. If you like it, you may purchase another." This was actually a marketing strategy. Only after tasting it would people know whether they liked it or not, otherwise there's always a lack of courage to try something new. Li Qin asked, "How much is one?" "It's 3 yuan each," the waiter replied. Without hesitation, Li Qin spoke up, "He'll have another, please." After all, Ni Yang seemed too young. But unexpectedly, Ni Yang had managed the business incredibly well. This was somewhat beyond his expectations. After greeting Ni Yang, Chen Jitsang joined his friends. "Did you see her?" "That's Ni Yang. What do you think? She looks good, doesn't she?" One of his slightly overweight friends replied, "Yes, she does look good, but I'm worried, bro. I'm not sure you can win her over. This kind of girl isn't easy to chase, unlike the girls abroad." "I agree with Kai. You think I can't get her? Joe, do I ever fail?" Chen Jitsang continued, "Do you want to bet on it?" "What bet?" Yang Kai asked. Chen Jitsang declared, "If I can win over Ni Yang, you guys will wash my dirty socks for a month." Yang Kai countered, "And what if you don't?" "A joke. Do you think I want?" Chen Jitsang confidently stated, "Don't worry, I assure you I can win her over. There's no girl in this world that I, Chen Jitsang, cannot win over." During his years studying abroad, he even earned the nickname Destroyer of Roses. Yang Kai countered, "If you don't succeed, you'll be washing our dirty socks for a month." "All right." Chen Jitsang agreed without hesitation, bragging, "You guys better get ready, my dirty socks really stink." Yang Kai grinned wryly, "We'll see who ends up washing whose socks." As far as Chen Jitsang was concerned, he was determined to get Ni Yang. He casually flagged down a waiter, asking in a grandiose manner, "Do you offer some sort of membership card here? With the card, I can dine on the 3rd floor, right?" "Yes, sir." Chen Jitsang continued, "He'll have one." "All right, please follow me," the waiter said, gesturing politely. She never expected that after just mocking anyone who would apply for a membership card as being a fool walked right in. 888 yuan. If those 888 yuan were used to buy ribs, wouldn't those ribs be delicious? When the group arrived on the 3rd floor, they finally saw its true face. Chen Jitsang never knew that such an ordinary restaurant could be decorated so beautifully. The 3rd floor offered a completely different visual effect from the 1st and 2nd floors. If the 1st and 2nd floors could be described as earthly paradises, then the 3rd floor was truly like Yaoqi Wonderland with a transparent PVC roof. One look-up combined with the surrounding decorations created an obscure and dreamy effect like gazing at the moon. There was no scent of food lingering in the air, it was replaced by the light fragrance of magnolia. The redwood walls had excellent sound insulation, and not a single noise could be heard. What truly amazed Chen Jitsang was the taste of the food. Even a plate of chicken feet that seemed unprocessed tasted irresistibly good. It was then that Chen Jitsang truly understood why Ni Yang's business was so successful. "This young lady is quite competent. I thought she was all show," he said. "Indeed, she is impressive. By the way, brother, how old is that young lady?" Madame Shangguan retorted, "No matter what you say, I will never accept a woman like Lin Fang as my daughter-in-law. Shangguan Furong sighed. Mother, you are really too stubborn. If it wasn't for you back then, would my brother be so alone now? Madame Shangguan didn't speak, she just stared out the window, her eyes heavy with worry. Was her son truly upset over the situation with Lin Fang? She was not quite sure. After Shangguan Dehui returned to his room, he lay on the bed, lost in thought. He didn't know why, but suddenly he wanted to see Nai Tsuehua again very soon. He had to recover quickly from his injuries so he could visit the Nai family and express his gratitude as soon as possible. Chapter 594. Identity revealed. Dia is that Dia, 21 more updates. _1 Zhou Dana's house. The bun business has been poor these days. Old Zhao didn't return until after 7 o'clock in the evening, and only 20 buns were sold out of 100. There were 80 left. They had so many leftover buns from the past few days that the family couldn't finish them even after days. Looking at the buns, old Zhao grew worried. He searched his pockets for a cigarette but instead found a slip of paper. This slip of paper was from Ni Yan's previous visit. It was the recipe for making ketchup. Ni Yan had written it out very clearly in great detail. It was easy to understand. Old Zhao looked at the piece of paper and said to Zhou Danny, "How about we try what Yang suggested? We could sell the grilled bun pieces by the school gate." Zhou Danny frowned. "That uses a lot of oil and we don't have a lot of sesame oil left at home." Zhao responded, "Let's just try it out first. If it doesn't work out, then well, let it go. It's such a waste to see these buns go unused. Besides, if Ni Yan can make her business so successful, the method she taught us shouldn't be too shabby." Zhou Danny hesitated. "All right. Then let's start making the ketchup." "What is ketchup?" Zhou Danny was curious. Old Zhao replied, "It's my first time hearing of it too. Yang said it tastes excellent and when spread on the grilled bun pieces, it's delicious." She's written down the method on this paper. Let me read it to you. Although Zhou Danny couldn't read, she caught on to things quickly. After hearing it once, she immediately understood. She took out 2 tomatoes, "Then let's give it a try." Not long after, the small kitchen was filled with the sweet and sour aroma of tomatoes. While making the tomato sauce, Zhou Danny quickly sliced the buns into moderate thickness pieces. She heated up some oil and proceeded to grill the pieces around the sides of the pan. Old Zhao stood by her side. "Flip them quickly." Yang said to cook them until golden brown. 1 bun could be sliced into 8 pieces and a plateful of grilled bun pieces were ready in no time. And grilling the bun slices wasn't as oil-consuming as they thought. The children came running in from outside. "Mom, Dad, what delicious food are you making? It smells so good." "Dashuan, Ershuan, Sanchuan, Xiaoshuan, coming quickly. Mom has made something delicious for you." Zhou Danny gave each of her children a piece of grilled bun. "Wow, yummy. Mom, these pancakes you made are so delicious." "What's this red thing?" "It's sweet and sour, it tastes even better than hawthorn." The children usually grew sick of eating buns, but they never expected the bun pieces to be such a big hit. Ni Yan was obviously right. These bun pieces would definitely sell better than the whole buns. Zhou Danny smiled. "These are grilled bun slices." "Grilled bun slices? Are these made from buns?" "Yes." Zhou Danny nodded.